Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been high in a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been high in a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fuck with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoe, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. But need OG, keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been high in a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, oh, wait, what is going on here, guys? We don't have a, what happened to our, let me see here. Bada boom, there we go. We got to get that border going. But what is going on, Mafia? Welcome back to another Frankie Candles live stream right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Bitcoin got a little bit of chop over the weekend, guys. We're getting a little bit of a push to the upside, a little bit of a push to the downside. We're basically just getting a mishmash of sideways price action here, guys. I want to break down all the levels for you and kind of what I'm expecting next here on Bitcoin. We got FOMC on Wednesday, guys. Are we going to see a push to the upside, or are we going to get that bigger drop to the downside? That's kind of been the question here for the past couple of weeks, as we kind of front-ran the key levels of support, those macro key levels of support that we had down below. Are we going to go down and physically tap them? Are we going to get a retracement to the upside? What the heck is going to happen next year with Bitcoin, guys? We're going to try to break it down for you on tonight's live stream. So shout out to the CandleMafia, and shout out to everybody tuned in right now. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on the live stream. Tony D dropping a little bit of a poll here. What will FOMC bring? Big pump, big dump? Absolutely nothing. Let me know what you guys think in that poll. Big pump winning at 38%. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Let's go. Let's just all vote pump, because that's what we all want, right? That's all we want is a big pump on Bitcoin here. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got Chemistry Bro, guys. Show some love to the mods. We got Rob the Crypto Stop, Darren Delstein, Chemistry Bro, Crypto Anon, Crypto Billy, Tyler Durden. You guys know who they are. Show them some love in the chat. We got Uncle Jesse in the chat, who is our like police. If you ask you to smash that like button, be kind enough to tap it with your elbow, touch it with your butt. Do whatever you have to do. We don't judge, guys. Just tap that like button. Let's see. Shout out to G65 said dump and then pump. Let's see. K Diggity said, "Wow, I haven't seen a snuggle for years. That thing is fresh." Hey, shout out to a snuggle. What is a snuggle? A snuggie? Is that what that said? A snuggie. Shout out to, this is, I wish I had a snuggie on. That'd be fire. Shout out to K Diggity. Welcome in, bro. Phoebe says hi. She said you didn't return her phone call, though, so shout out to K Diggity. Maybe give her a call. She was pissed off all weekend. Shout out to K Diggity. Welcome in. We got Satoshi Stacker in the chat. Said no one knows. Shout out to Satoshi Stacker. I'd pretty much agree with you on that. We could try to use the charts to give us the high probability outcome, but obviously, guys, FOMC is going to bring a lot of volatility. I think it's like a 99% chance that there's like no change. So obviously, those statistics do end up being right more than they're wrong. Let's see. Destroy that $500 million short with a massive pump. Shout out to John Tyler. I hope so. We are long. We are still holding our long position from last week, and I was short as well, guys. I actually got stopped out of that position on the little wick to the upside that we got over the weekend, but I will cover all that price action, guys. We'll take a look at the key levels, the higher time frame levels, the low time frame levels. We're going to give you guys everything you need to know to get prepared for this big move up, or hopefully big move up. I'm just going to say big move. Not big move up just yet, but get prepared for this big move if we're going to get it on FOMC. We got Koozie Can Bump It, or Cuz I Can Bump It, but Koozie Can as I like to call him. Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. We got Nick Dunn in the chat with the new PFP with the Frankie Candles logo in there. I absolutely love it, Nick. Right on top of the big rig there. Shout out to you, man. Let's see. Get ready to get liquidated. Shout out to Maximum Profit. You can't get Maximum Profit if you get liquidated. Shout out to you, brother. But we never get liquidated. Well, I don't want to say never, but I'm not going to get liquidated. I'll get stopped out potentially. But let's see. Hey, shout out to Gen Z says, I sold the long and in no trade, and that's okay. Shout out to Gen Z. That is something a lot of traders need to hear. It's okay to not have a trade open. I do have a trade open, but it is okay to sit out and wait for those high probability trades, guys. And again, FOMC is probably going to get very volatile, so if you're out there trading on Wednesday, please be careful. Make sure you have your stop losses set. Let's see. Bada boom. CandleMafia's John Cena said, big announcement from NVIDIA tomorrow. Watch AI agent coin. Shout out to John Cena. We'll see. We'll see what happens, brother. Hopefully, we can get some movement on something. Just get something to move up in a bigger way than things have been moving up recently. But let's see. Let's see. Like number 13 is mine. Shout out to Uncle Jesse in the chat. TY, what is going on? And Gen Z said, learn from the best. Hey, shout out to Gen Z. Let's go, baby. But guys, we got a lot to talk about today and a lot to look at on the chart. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. By the way, guys, I have been having technical difficulties. We had technical difficulties on the premium live stream earlier. So if we freeze up or something, I can already see my connection is poor. I don't know why. I don't know what is going on here, but we do have a poor connection. So if we lag out, stick around. We're going to try to get it figured out. But yeah, let's go ahead. Link is pumping. Yeah, shout out to Bit. I can't see Bituendo, I think is what that says. We actually took a look at on the premium live stream. We took a look at Link for that move up. So yeah, we'll take a look at that. Shout out to Lord said, for those of you who just want to know the trade, just join the premium. He posts all of his trades. Hey, shout out to Lord. That is true. Shout out to you, brother. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys. What the heck are we going to do? Why does it feel so bright in here? I think it's because it's daylight out. It's kind of weird doing these live streams in the light now. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on in here, guys. Now, I'm going to start off here on the higher time frames and kind of break down what we were looking at last week and what we are likely to see moving into the rest of this week. So we come on over to the higher time frames. As you guys know, on Friday, we did have the green dot confirming or printing on the 2-day time frame because that's where you have 2-day green dots. And we also did have somewhat of a bullish divergence form here on the 2-day with our lower lows on price action, higher lows on our momentum waves. We did hold that long position. I am still holding that long position right now. Profits locked in, stop loss to break even. And, we were looking at this as like, hey, maybe this 2-day bull dip does give us a little bit more of a big retracement. And, we talk, I'm not going to cover the super long time frames. I've been covering this a lot lately, guys. So I don't think I'm going to cover the kind of high time frames. What we're expecting here in the long run is the bear market here, is the bull market here. You guys know I do not fall in the camp of a traditional bear market, us being in a traditional bear market, obviously based off high time frame structure. But again, it does not mean that 110K wasn't the top. That's just not the personal camp that I fall in just yet. And we went over last week in detail kind of what we would be looking for if we were to get a bigger retracement based off this 2-day bullish divergence. We also had the 3-day green dot looking to print, and the 4-day green dot is now starting to look like it wants to print as well. Are we going to get the bigger retracement now? Are we going to run up into the FOMC before potentially putting in lower highs and continuing to the downside? Now, obviously, guys, we are going to be kind of tied to the macroeconomic situation that we have going on right now. If we do not have the looser monetary policy, we are likely not going to see this stuff pump to the upside. But again, I do not think that we are in a bear market just yet. But when we do, and if we do get a bigger retracement, this is where you really want to start paying attention to Bitcoin, and everybody's going to start getting bullish, right? Everyone's going to be like, oh my God, all-time highs incoming, and hopefully that is the case. But we cannot just take that as, hey, we're getting a few days or a few weeks of green. We're definitely going into all-time highs. We have to be careful of those key levels to the upside. I'm not going to cover those too much in today's video or today's live stream just because we covered them so much in the past. But that's kind of the overall thought process, right? High time, when we look at the higher time frames, money flow is still technically coming to the downside. 3-day money flow is definitely trending down here. Money flow is all about the direction, guys. It is not just, oh my God, we're coming up, right? You have to look at the overall kind of trend that money flow is giving us. And right now on the 3-day, it is technically trending to the downside. The 2-day is also obviously still in the red here. So as long as this money flow stays in the red and the 3-day continues to come out, and these higher time frame money flows are continuing to the downside. We have to look at this, even if we get a bigger pump, through the lens of potential lower highs and lower lows to come in. Because if we are going to get that retracement and things still look like garbage up here, right, or even maybe a little bit higher leading into about 102 to 103K, we have to be prepared in case that money flow is coming out for a potential lower high and a lower low, which we compared that to the 2021 price action where you kind of get those retracements and you put in the lower highs and then dump into a bigger bear market, right? But again, I'm not going to go too much into that. That's all I'll say on the higher time frames as far as kind of what I'm expecting here. But money flow coming out, definitely still have to look through the lens of a potential continuation of the overall downtrend. Maybe, I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to see the, it's really hard for me to tell unless we do a poll how many new people are in the stream. If you're new here, you will not know the situations we were looking at. You can go check the older live streams from last week. But yeah, let me know if you guys want me to take a look at that. But we just covered it so much, right? We cover it for so long because it's a very complex situation. But my personal stance is that we are not in a bear market. I do still think we could see new all-time highs upwards of 137 to 150K. I do still think hopefully we could see a utility alt season come in as well. If we get that looser monetary policy, I said this earlier today in the premium live stream. When you have a new administration come in, guys, and shake up things like they're doing right now, it is going to be bad for the market short term. But if we do create a lot more pain, right, you might even see a more max pain scenario where we could come down to between about $72,000 and $70,000, which is our next key levels of support. We might have to cause max pain before finally turning getting that looser monetary policy for our next big move up. And that is kind of that is kind of the camp that I fall into, right? I don't think it's as easy to just throw in the towel and say we're in a bear market. Could that be the case? Yes, just because I don't think the top is in just yet. Does that mean that you should just hold all your coins and buy all the altcoins right now? Obviously not. But that's just kind of the camp that I fall into. So you got to watch this money flow until we see this start to turn around. I am going to keep my kind of overall, and you might think to yourself, well, Frank, you're saying money flow's coming out, the downtrend could continue. How could you say we're not in a bear market? And the simple answer to that, guys, is we could easily see more pain, right, without it being a bear market, right? Like if you look at this, Bitcoin has obviously been in a massive bull market. We are putting in higher lows and higher highs consistently, right? Hopefully we could, put the higher low in here. Once we start breaking back down below this larger range, that is where things get a little bit suspicious, potentially dragging us down towards 60K. That is in the cards. That is something we could see play out. But I just personally think that, at this moment, there's not enough on the charts, right? We have not broken these highs yet. And technically, if we did want to come back down here and test this structure one more time, you could take off from there. But again, this is not just going to be the charts that I'm looking at, right? It's the macroeconomics as well, right? There's a lot of stuff that has to line up for this thing to take back off. So yeah. I am bearish on the higher time frame money flow, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean just because the 2-day money flow is in the red that we're definitely in a bear market. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, higher time frames, money flow still coming out, but we do still have, right, like these green dots, 4-day green dot looking to potentially print. This could, if we are going to pump into FOMC, maybe we're going to wiggle up here before FOMC. If that is the case, 4-day green dot would be something to look at. 2-day bull div obviously also printing didn't give us much of a move up. We kind of just wiggled sideways over the weekend. And then, so higher time frames, all remain the same. I don't want to really stick too long on this because we cover it so much and it takes so long for this information to present itself that, we kind of just have to give this time to play out. And honestly, over the weekend, guys, I know it felt really volatile, right? I know you got the drop down and then you got the pump to the upside. We actually dropped a short setup in the premium Discord late on Friday night to short on some bearish retests here, looking for a drop back down to into our lower volume profile, which I will pull up right now because I do want to talk about that. We are still long here. I am still long from this value area low. Maybe I'll show that trade. I showed it last week, obviously. Still sitting at the exact same level, guys. Yesterday, on Friday's live stream, right, we were sitting right here. And here we are again, just sitting at the exact same prices, right? So that did come down into the POC for a TP1. And then I personally got stopped out of that position. So on this big liquidation wick. So they got me over the weekend, guys. They got me. But that's okay. I am still holding the long from down here. So, if we do continue up, it is going to be, that'll continue to pay us out. Now, I want to talk about the current price action here, the local levels as well. And, the question here, guys, or not the question, but I do just want to bring up, as we looked at last week, and again, I hate for it to be super repetitive, but we are literally at the same prices that we were last Friday, right, on the live stream. But when we look at this, right, Bitcoin is at a very, very, very critical level here, and it's kind of confusing, right, because if we pull up our ranges here, we obviously have our little local range, right? This is where we caught our long from the value area low up into the value area high. I am obviously TP1. with my stop loss at break even on that, right? We're looking for the, I'll talk about some of the next targets for that in just a second. I think if you guys watch the channel and you understand the volume profiles, you probably know what those next targets are probably going to be if this is going to continue us to the upside. But we are in a little bit of a weird situation. I'm even going to hide these anchored VWAPs because I want to keep this as simple as possible. We have our lower volume profile, which gives us the nice context below, right? Giving us that long position up to the high. And that's, again, part of the reason why we looked for that short setup in the Discord on Friday was because we were simply deviating above our value area high, right? You go from the low to the POC to the high, deviate above. This is where you want to look for shorts, as this is looked at as an overvalued price relative to the recent price action, right? This is where you look for short positions. We look for a retracement into a local golden pocket to get back inside this range, lose the value area high, go to the POC, and potentially see a move to the low. We got that move into the POC, but we did not get the full fill of the range. But the reason this is such an interesting and kind of sticky situation, guys, is because we don't only have this local range, right? Just for what it's worth, this is the scalp range. These are the local levels to look at. Volume profile, with the value area low sitting at $80,290, POC sitting right here at about $82,682, and then you have the value area high sitting at $83,723. So in the context of this volume profile, this is typically where we're looking for shorts on deviations above. And I'll talk about this kind of up here. I am not personally in a short position. There is an argument to be had that there is a short setup up here, but it is on the lower time frame, so I am being a little bit careful. But just these are the local levels, right? This is the local volume profile. If we are just going to rotate this range, this is what I would be looking at. Now, on top of that, literally on top of that, the reason this is such a sticky situation, guys, is because we pull up that upper range, right? The day trade range. We are not only above the value area high of the local range, but we are also attempting to break and hold above this value area low of our larger volume profile sitting above us. So the question, we're kind of faced here with a little bit of a difficult situation, right? It's like, should we be looking for shorts up here to go back down into the range, right? Or should we be looking at this, regardless of the lower volume profile? Are we going to break up here, hold this as support, and continue our move to the upside? And I'll be honest, it's a very, very difficult situation. When you have a volume profile with a high and a low right on top of each other, it just gives you this super, super difficult situation to navigate because you just don't know if you're going to hold this as support, right? Or if you're going to break down into the lower range and go back down to the low. Now, obviously, we could use things like Market Cypher B to try to put the probabilities in our favor. And in my opinion, guys, the reason why I was a little bit hesitant for this short position, it is valid. I was talking to the premium Discord. There is a valid setup up there. But the reason I'm a little bit iffy about it is just because if you take a look here at our 30-minute money flow, you can see now it's back in the red, obviously, just extra chop in the market. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we just kind of chop around here, guys, leading into FOMC. Maybe we go back into the lower range. Maybe we just kind of wiggle around up here. I do think the next big move is probably either going to be the push up into FOMC or just kind of more chop. But we had the 30-minute money flow crossing over into the green with our fresh 8-hour green dot printing, which is still printing, right? So we could still keep an eye on this because if this 8-hour green dot, we still have an hour, almost 2 hours for this to confirm. Watching this 30-minute money flow could be a Market Cypher B 116 strategy. Now, I've been saying this a lot recently. We want to be careful with these setups right now, guys, in this choppy price action. Oftentimes when we see the 8-hour green dot with a 30-minute money flow crossover into the green, there's a pretty high probability that if those happen at the same time and that green dot confirms, that money flow on the 30-minute is going to give you a continuation to the upside, right? And just a continuation of the trend, right? It doesn't mean you can't pull back a little bit before continuing your overall trend, but the idea would be the continuation of the overall trend to the upside. But of course, we have some mixed signals, right? Money flow back in the red, and then, we also have the support down below, and also, if we break down below this support, it becomes key resistance, opening up the door for the bigger drop to the downside. So I'll be honest, this is a super, super sticky situation. So I'm really just paying attention to the lower range as of right now for potential short setups. We don't really have too much to really look at here, to be quite honest with you, right? We don't really have any 15-minute bearish divergences, right? We do have money flow kind of flat here on the 15-minute, but we don't really have any 15-minute bearish divergences. That would be a little bit of a stronger signal, right? If we did have some like a 15 or 30-minute bear div up here, that would be a much better setup for me. Not that I would just short based off the bear div. We want to look at other things such as CVD and the order flow as well. But, we don't really have any like strong confirmations up here, in my opinion, or we don't even have any signals or confirmations on significant time frames. The only kind of time frames that we have confirmation on is that the lower time frames, right? We have some bearish divergences printed on the 5-minute, right? Higher highs, lower, lower highs, right? You have your lower highs on your momentum waves, higher highs on price. We do get the correction to the downside. And at the end of the day, guys, to be quite honest, let me pull up the day trade range, right? If we were to short here, right, you have the key level of support, which is the value area low and the value area high of your previous range below, right? So if we did take a short up here, which again, I personally did not, but we were looking at it as a valid setup. I personally decided to sit out of it. We did get the drop to the downside. But you kind of have like local levels of like really important support here. So, we just have to watch this. This is sitting at about $83,700. It's the confluence of the larger value area low and the local value area high. So it's going to be key support. And then once we break down below it, that's where we could look for the full fill down to the POC, lose the POC, potentially look for the bigger fill down to the value area low. But it's really unclear right now. But these are the levels, and this is kind of the roadmap that I am looking at price in. Now, another thing to look at here, and another thing that could potentially, right, I don't really like taking shorts against an 8-hour green dot with the 30-minute money flow crossover. I would just rather, if it comes down, it comes down. I'll try to find a different entry. But, I just don't like trading. Like, there's definitely mixed signals. So it would be a little bit of a lower probability trade in my opinion, which is fine if you're using good risk management. You have your stop loss set nice and tight. That's totally fine. You could get stopped out for a small loss and see the continuation up. But another thing that we can look at here, guys, is this anchored VWAP pulled from the high here, or the lower high, I should say, sitting at about $92,000, right? This has been pretty strong resistance so far, right? We just barely front ran it here before getting another rip to the downside. We came back up. We got slammed back down. We came back up. We got slammed back down. Now we're coming back up to this. So there is like a lot of resistance here, but there's also a lot of support down below. So, maybe you could potentially look at this as, I don't know, like I'm trying to make sense of this, right? Like, is this an ascending triangle of some sort, right? Which would typically break to the upside. It's really, really hard to tell. And there's not really that many clear signs of market cipher B. Earlier today, the 8-hour green dot with the 30-minute money flow crossover looked pretty good, but now we're just getting more choppy signals with the money flow coming back into the red here, right? So sometimes it's just not a great environment to take some trades. Shout out to Gen Z, said he's not in any trades, and that's okay. And that is 100% totally fine, guys. Sometimes the best trade is no trade if you don't have clear signals. But I would say there was technically a valid entry earlier up here during the premium live stream that we were looking at. But I would just be careful because you are coming down to that key level of support, which is nice, right? And the reason that's nice is because we know once we lose this, hey, we're probably going to get accepted into the range and at least come down to the POC. And then you have the clear level here at 82.7. Lose that POC. Look to come down to the value area low at $80,273. So that's the local range. And then if we do just continue up, we have to flip that anchored VWAP, which right now is coming in at $84,238. Flip that to support. That's where you can see the bigger move up, in which case I would be targeting next the larger golden pocket retracement. We do have some other local levels in here, but they're pretty low time frame. So I'm not really going to bring them up. I just like to cover more of the significant levels here on the live stream. But if we do get above that anchored VWAP, we could potentially open up the door because at that point we're getting accepted into the range, and we could look for a push up towards this next purple box, which sits between about $88,000 and $89,638 between our point of control of the range and the Fibonacci, our next golden pocket retracement, right? And to be for the long trade, right? This is obviously going to be the next target to the upside if we get hold the support above here. I'm going to get rid of this purple box. It's like, I don't even know what to put here, guys, to be honest. It's resistance, but it's also support, right? So it's like, it's kind of hard to mark this out clearly, but at the end of the day, I'm just looking at the volume profiles. We stay inside this volume profile. We could get the bigger break up to the golden pocket POC at the prices I just mentioned, and that would just simply be the next major target here for me, personally, for that long position. Just looking to get pushed up towards the golden pocket. I'm going to be a little bit more conservative in case we don't make it all the way up to the POC, but based off the volume profiles and the laws of the volume profile, we are going to be looking at that as the next target, right? Because you go from the low, right? Hold the low as support. You look to go to that POC next, flip that POC, come up to the value area high, and that value area high is confluent with our 786 Fibonacci retracement, sitting at about $91,258, right? So those are the two ranges. Very difficult for me to just like, sometimes we could see that we're dumping to the downside. We have bullish divergences. We're looking for a move back up into the range. But right now, because of the nature of the low and the high being at the same level, this is a difficult situation, right? Hold here, send it. Lose this, send it, right? Just a super difficult situation in my opinion, and I am only holding the long here, so I will be looking for a potential maybe to hedge on this move down, because like I said, the lower time frames, 5-minute bearish divergences. We also did have some bearish CVD forming up here as well, and then, I mean, I'll be honest, guys, like, Even this, like 12-minute was coming into the red. Now it's shooting back into the green. Super choppy price action, right? So it's okay. If you're out there and you're looking for trades, it's okay to sit out of trades even for a week straight, right? Hopefully you don't have to wait that long. But, unless there's super strong confirmation, I like to be extra careful. But, I would say that like the lower time frames could be calling for a correction, a continuation of this correction down. And that's just things like the 12-minute money flow that was coming out. Now it's coming back up, of course. 15-minute money flow is now kind of flat. But if you look up here to the medium hourly time frames, right? 2-hour red dot looking to print. 3-hour red dot, come on, looking to print. And then even your 4-hour, not really, it's starting to roll over here. But, maybe we see some turbulence to the downside based off of that. But at the end of the day here, guys, like 2-hour money flow was trying to come up into the green here. Now it's back in the red. 3-hour is coming back into the green. That's a little bit more of a clear signal. 3-hour money flow crossing over into the green, and then your 4-hour is attempting to come up here. I would say, in my opinion, low probability trading environment right now, in my own personal opinion, right? Like the only trade I'm holding is the long from the low here. And, take that for what it's worth, guys. Like we're chopping around here. This is like, in my opinion, not the best place to look for trades. Doesn't mean, right, this is obviously going to go up or go down, right? It could obviously also chop sideways. But, for me personally, I need to see better confirmation. You could see here we got the big drop to the downside. Oh, my God, we're coming to key support. That's where we take the trade, right? Here, it's just kind of like whipsawing and just super, super choppy, which is not really uncommon leading up to FOMC, to be quite honest. So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as the key levels. Market Cypher B is a bit chopped up, so I would be careful. If I had to put a general sentiment on it, I wouldn't be surprised if you kind of cool off short term, where your key level is sitting at 83.7 to 83.5, and then you have the POC down below at 82.686. Once you lose that, you're looking for the bigger drop down into the range. So these are the ranges that I'm looking at. It's very hard to say if we're going to hold this or if we're going to lose it, right? Like, are we going to fill up to this range or that range? Very, very difficult to say. And I am not afraid to say when there are not clear signs on the chart, guys, I have no problem saying hard to say, right? It's I only like to give like confident predictions based off analysis that is clear, and there's just not really. The charts are muddied up right now. Hopefully those higher time frame green dots, like the 3-day being confirmed, the 4-day looking to print. Maybe we get the rally into FOMC, in which case the next big target would be $88,000 in my opinion, right? And then if we wind up coming down, you guys know we do have key levels down below here at about just below $76,500. Let's say we do come back into this range. We lose the POC. We come back down. We start losing this range. Once we start losing, guys, I'm going to pull this fib. Once again, this is the same level that we looked at last week. Once we start losing the 786 at $78,389, that's where I think we come down to the lower levels first, right? Where our support is sitting at right down here where we have the daily and weekly naked points of controls, right? Right here, 76,487 or, 76,452, right? All the way down to the weekly naked point of control at 75K. So lose 78,389. I'd be looking down here. We have liquidity. We have the 786, the daily naked point of control, and the weekly naked point of control. But really hard. I'm just kind of letting things shake out right now, to be quite honest. Holding the long, in profit, profits locked in. Just kind of letting things shake out. If we hold above this value area low, beautiful. Long continues to slap. If we come back down, we'll just reassess the situation and kind of move from there. Other than that, guys, a little bit of a weird situation. 3-hour money flow looks fine. 2-hour money flow looks choppy, right? 1-hour money flow kind of looks like it wants to come up, right? We're working our way up here. 16-hour green dot is printing. That's another kind of market Cypher B 116 strategy. This is another reason why I was being a little bit careful with these short setups up here. You have the 8-hour and 30-minute, which is now getting chopped up, but you do have the 16-hour green dot with the 1-hour money flow trying to come to the upside as well. But again, I am putting a little bit more caution on these setups, guys, because in this choppy scenario, sometimes these just don't play out. The market Cypher B 116s have a sweet spot or like a market condition sweet spot for where they actually like really start to smack to the upside or downside, right? But right now, it's just we're kind of in no man's land right now between these two value area levels. So 16-hour, 1-hour, that looks somewhat good to me. But again, I wouldn't just be as confident as I typically am in them just because of the environment. And then we also have the 12-hour green dot printing. It's super choppy, I'll be honest with you guys. 45-minute money flow trying to work its way up as well. So if you want the move to the upside, I would say the thing to look for is be careful of local volatility to the downside, but I would watch for that 45-minute and 1-hour money flow crossover into the green with the 12 and 16-hour green dots. And then, again, honorable mention would be the 8-hour 30-minute. But again, with this money flow coming back out, It's just super choppy, super choppy. I wish I could come up here and be like, guys, super clear signals to the upside, super clear signals to the downside. But sometimes we just have to deal with this like gross, choppy price action. But it doesn't stop the mafia from making money on these little scalps that we're in. Let's see. Maybe a huge dump this week before a pump next week, potentially. Shout out to B Gold. Usually we will see a shout out to Crypto Billy, said Franklin Candleton mooning. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's get it, brother. Let's get it. Shout out to Crypto Billy, guys. Show the mod some love in the chat. Let's see. We gonna fly. I hope so. I am long. I am long on Bitcoin, right? So I would prefer a move to the upside because I am not hedged short here. If I were to hedge short, I would probably be looking for, what I looked at before with the low time frame bearish divergences. We could look for some kind of entry up in here. I'm not going to talk about the exact entries because it's not fair to the people who pay in the premium Discord. But like I said, if you just look at this, there's two ways to look at the market. You can look at it. Let's just pretend, right? Like, hey, here's our volume profile, guys. What do we look at here? Like in this case, right? This is simple. Like me personally, right? When I look at the charts, if I'm looking at this volume profile, I am saying to myself, hey, this is a deviation above the high. This is where I look for shorts. This is the deviation above the high. This is where we look for shorts. Specifically, to get accepted back into the range, go to the POC, and then if you could lose that POC, you could see that play out in full to the value area low, right? Just like here. Over the weekend on Friday, that last long short setup that we put in, wound up getting the push to the POC, and then I wound up getting stopped out on that big liquidation wick. They got me! They got me this weekend, guys. I can't lie. I share my wins and my losses with you guys. I don't win every single trade. Sometimes I even get stop hunted, right? Which is pretty much exactly what happened there. So, from a local perspective, you could potentially look as we deviate above that high, overvalued asset, look for the short confirmations, get back stuck underneath the value area high at 83.7, look to go to the POC, lose the POC, go to the low, right? Simply put. The confusion really comes in once you realize that you have the volume profile sitting above you. That's what makes this a hard situation because you could short here, but you're shorting into the value area low, which is kind of sketchy. And it's fine, right? Like if you're looking at that, it's totally fine as long as you lock in profits. You know that you're coming down to key support. This would be a place you would want to lock in some profits, move your stop loss to break even in case you do wind up flying to the upside. So I'm not, but if I were taking the short up here, if I did take the short up here, I would lock in profits here, move my stop loss to break even. If we bounce out and go higher, I would stop out for a little bit of profit, and the long continues to pay me out. In this case, I would just sit this move out, and then the long would continue to pay me out. But with your stop loss to break even, you could just look at this as, well, hey, if we break back in here, right, then I could let that winner run, right? And the short wind up paying you out great, and then we would get stopped out of the long in profit. But I am not holding the short, full disclosure. I am only holding the long position, not because I guarantee that it's going up, just because there just wasn't enough confirmation up here for me to take the short. Maybe if I were to see some kind of a retracement, some confirmations on that retracement, I could look for the short entry. But for me, 5-minute bear divs are really not enough for me to just take a shot at a short. And if I did, honestly, you could take it, but you would just want to be like a little tight with that stop loss, right? And then I would be kind of targeting down here. But we'll have to see what happens. Maybe I'll take an entry. Maybe I won't. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Shout out to Brock. What is going on? Says, yo, Frankie, are we ready to fake pump and then dump it? I would like that, right? Like my ideal situation, which by the way, guys, the market does not care about what I want the ideal situation to be. But me personally, I would love to just stay up in here and maybe like get a push up in here, maybe even up here. I don't know if we're going to make it all the way to 91, but at least, stay in here, get a little pump to the upside, squeeze this long for a little bit more profit. And then, FOMC, wherever we wind up landing, maybe that's where it dumps. Really, really hard to say, guys. FOMC weeks are, you want to be careful, right? Just if you're out there trading, please use your stop losses. Make sure you're not going 100x long with no stop loss and you get liquidated. Be careful out there. The volatility is likely to come in pretty crazy. Let's see. Shout out to J. Cole, said, how do you think the markets will react to FOMC? I mean, it depends on obviously what happens. I think the bet here, 99% chance that they keep them the same, which at the end of the day, right, it wouldn't be bad news, right? It's not great news either. It's not like they're cutting rates, but, market doesn't like uncertainty or unpredictability. So I would say, if it just winds up being what it is, I think really what moves the market on FOMC is the language of Powell, right? People are probably going to be like, that's typically what happens, right? Like they get their decision. Usually the whatever people are anticipating is what happens, right? But what a lot of people do is like they sit there and they listen to Powell speak and they try to like nitpick his language and figure out like, what his plans are. And of course, he speaks in backwards riddles. So it's very, very difficult to kind of predict exactly what will happen. But, obviously, if they cut rates out of nowhere and that's not anticipated, that would be really bullish, right? That would probably give us a massive pump to the upside. Everyone's expecting rates to stay the same, and then they cut them. It's like, oh my God, bullish black swan event, and send it to the upside. If they raise them or whatever, if they raise them for whatever reason, that would be obviously very bearish. If it stays the same, maybe we just kind of get some typical FOMC volatility, a wash to the upside, wash to the downside, and then we kind of just settle. But really, really difficult to predict at this point. Let's see. Shout out to Isaac Newton. Thank you for the super chat. Says, Danny Jerome is actually Satoshi. Shout out to Isaac. That would be crazy. Imagine, like, the most unexpected person to be Satoshi is Satoshi. Shout out to Sunny. Thank you for the super chat. Said, what's your thoughts on high IQ indicator trading for crypto? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I could try to look it up and do some research for you. But yeah, I would say anything that isn't trying to claim that it's a buy or sell signal is probably going to give you some kind of good information, right? Like, I would just stay away from things that are just trying to tell you, like, you could buy when you see this signal and sell when you see this signal. Like, that's typically, that's the kind of indicator that I would personally stay away from, right? Because if it was that easy, right? If there was an indicator out there that can tell me when to buy and sell, I would just set up a bot, and everybody would, right? No one would have a job. Everyone would just have that indicator on a chart. Even people who don't know about trading, they'd hear about this thing. Oh, I can get this bot and make $1 billion. So yeah, shout out to Isaac Newton. I just don't know a lot about it. I don't really know anything about it. But yeah, I would just say anything other than like a buy and sell indicator could probably give you some kind of good information, right? Like indicators, a lot of people don't like indicators, right? Or you'll see some people like hate indicators altogether because, they're like, if there was an indicator, right? Like basically what I just said. But at the end of the day, like when we look at something like Luxalgo or Market Cipher, these are just giving us extra information. It's taking data on the chart and displaying it in a way that we could easily digest and make decisions. It can help us make decisions, right? It can help you make better informed decisions. That's why, I love Luxalgo. Their whole thing is like our indicators will give you information to help traders make better educated decisions, right? They're not just trying to tell you like, oh, you just buy here and sell here when our indicator tells you to. They're out there buy and sell indicators, but trust me, I fell for all that when I, back in the day, right? Like you think like, oh, this is easy. And then you look at a buy and sell indicator and like typically like it'll be like, oh, they put a sell here and we came down and there was a buy here and we came up. It's not that easy. Trust me. Otherwise I would have figured out, how to set that up on a bot years ago. And I would have never learned how the market actually moves. So yeah, I wish I could give a better information, but as long as it's not like a buy and sell indicator, I'm sure it's something, something useful. It's just going to be taking information and plotting it on the chart for you. Let's see. Trading is hard and I am holding. Yeah, shout out to Claudio. 100%, bro. This environment is pretty brutal for trading. Not that it's stopping us from making money on the little scalps, but as I say, even recently I've been saying, I'm just jumping in, grabbing my bag, jumping out. Like I said, this long position, I already got my profits locked in. I get stopped out. I'm making money, right? So I don't really care. But that's kind of the environment we're in. Jump in, grab your bag, jump out. Even on the short position, over the weekend, I, again, wound up getting stopped out here. But like even here, if I was actively at the charts, take profit, stop loss to break even, I would have gotten stopped out in profit. I got stopped out close to break even here, though. So yeah, definitely. Shout out to Claudio. Son, I love you guys. Blessed from Italy. Shout out to Claudio, my paisan. What is going on, bro? Thank you for being here and thank you for tuning in all the way from Italy. Let's go, the motherland. Let's see, the homeland. Yeah, shout out to Time Traveler said, the buy and sell signals always come on after the move is done. And I know if you go back and back test it, it looks like it would work. But again, it's just like this is the simple answer, right? If it was that easy, guys, I would just have a bot and I would have longed the exact low when someone told me to buy and sold the exact top when someone told me to sell. If it's too good to be true, it probably is, right? And again, I'm not saying that indicator that you mentioned is that. I don't know at all. But yeah, as long as it's not that, it's probably pretty good. Let's see. Shout out to E-Rock said, I looked into some of those buy and sell indicators. They look super accurate when you look in the past, but those indicators don't pop up until the candle closes and you already missed the boat. Yeah, shout out to E-Rock. Exactly. When I was younger, not that they don't advertise it like this, but even like when I first heard of Market Cipher years ago, I just looked at it at my own, doing my own kind of analysis. I'm just like looking at it and I'm trying to learn how it worked. And I'm just like, well, hey, like when these green dots print, usually you get a move up. And when the red dot prints, you see a move down, right? And a lot of people would just try to trade based off that. And trust me, it is not that easy. If it was, I would just come up here and be like, guys, green dot on the daily. We're definitely going up. Now, when we see green dots on the daily, do you see the moves to the upside? Oftentimes you do. But again, like the market's just not that easy to call, right? There's so much more that goes into trading than just, getting a buy signal or a sell signal. That's why we don't do signals. My Discord, my paid Discord is not a signals group, right? I share my trades. I give all my trade setups, but it's not just like a buy here, sell there. That's not how things work. Again, if it was that easy, I'd just set up a bot on the best traders, whoever the best trader out there. I don't know if it's measurable, but if you can find the best trader ever, just like set a bot up on their signals, right? And everyone would be a billionaire. It's just not that easy, right? It's the trade management, it's the emotional control. There's so much more that goes into trading. And that's why I try to really educate on this YouTube channel, guys. I don't just like to, hey guys, it's going up, hey guys, it's going down, because the answer is it's not that easy, right? And that's why I like to try to teach you guys so you can see multiple things pointing in one direction. It's all about finding that confluence of multiple things pointing in one direction and then saying, hey, all these things pointing in this direction means that the higher probability situation is for this move to happen, and then you can bet accordingly. But it doesn't just mean all these things are pointing to the upside, guaranteed move up. That's not how things work. We've seen bullish situations, bullish setups on the chart get absolutely stepped on because that's just how the market works, and that's why risk management is I would say more important than the analysis. The analysis takes time to learn. It is complex, but when you try to break it down into importance, I would say it's not even 50-50, right? Like it is so much more important. Like your journey, especially if you're looking to day trade or scalp, even with investing as well, right? Like when it comes to trading, the key is not a buy and sell signal. It's not knowing exactly when price is going to go up. I say this all the time. We don't need to know that this is the exact bottom, right? Like we don't need to know this is the exact bottom or this is the exact bottom or this is the exact top. It's just about understanding how the market moves, jumping in and extracting your money and actually paying yourself and protecting yourself against losses. It is, I would say, 80% TA and analysis and understanding how the market moves. And then, 80% emotion and discipline. And then 20% is the TA and the analysis. And it's not that one is more important than the other, but I would say the hardest part is the emotion and the trade management. It's like you could be I say this all the time. You could be the best you could be the best technical analyst, you could say every time I say it goes up, it goes up. That does not mean you're going to be a good trader, right? Like if you're learning and you're just looking at the charts trying to like do TA and you're not trading yet, you probably will get sooner than you think pretty good at understanding when price will bounce. That does not in any way, shape, or form equally translate into a good trader. It's a completely different skill. TA and trading are two totally different skills. You need TA to trade, right? In my opinion, unless you're just trading news, which would be a nightmare in my opinion. But you need the TA to take the trades, but they are not the same thing. They are two separate skills. You could be the best analyst and the worst trader, and that's just the fact of the matter, right? But anyway, let's see. Shout out to David Brumbelow in the chat. Shout out to David Brumbelow, not financial advice. Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, brother. Let's see. Hashtag not a cult. Shout out to K Diggity. Yes, guys. By the way, if anyone was asking, we are not a cult. Shout out to K Diggity. Phoebe's going crazy for you, K Dig. Let's see. I have 45 minutes to catch up on 4X Frankie. 4X Frankie is absolutely wild. Shout out to DMB Smurf. Only the boldest of traders can take 4X Frankie. Let's see. I trade too much and lose my profit. Shout out to Lil Porky. I love that name, bro. Shout out to Lil Porky. That is a very, very, very common issue that a lot of people have, especially new traders. Like you itch. I talked about this earlier in the premium Discord. You're going to itch to get into that next trade. Oh my God, I want to catch every move on the 5-minute. I want this, right? Whoops. Right, I want this. I want to catch this move. I want to catch this move, right? This is one of the fastest ways to chop up your account, especially if you're learning how to trade. You want to wait for the high probability, confluent, and confident setups. Only high probability trades is what you want to take, right? There's a reason why we don't just sit on the 1 minute and be like, you could do this, obviously. People can scalp, we can scalp and do scalp once in a while the 1 minute, right? But like I am very rarely sitting on the 1 minute being like, oh my God, I got this move. Oh my God, I caught this move. Oh my God, I caught this, right? Especially as a new trader. If I were to do that, it would be a different story. But like for a new trader just learning, oftentimes, for whatever reason, when people want to learn how to trade, they want to get on the 5 minute and take 50 trades. Trading is, and if you guys ever saw any of the shorts that I put out of the trades that I was taking actively, I basically just recorded myself taking live trades. It's much different than people realize. Like when you get into trading, a lot of people just think, right? If I go into bar replay mode, just to explain this a little bit, right? Like people think that it's going to be like this, right? Like you're just going to be like, okay, long, right? Now let me just change this to 10x, right? Like, okay, long, boom. All right, short, boom, right? Okay, long, short, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. It's not really like that, right? Trading, at least the way I trade, and the way a lot of people trade, right? Unless you're just degen scalping the 1 minute, which again, I would not recommend for new people. Most new people want to do that. But, a lot of people think it's like, okay, buy here, boom. Okay, sell here, boom. And they're just like making 100 trades a day. That is a nightmare situation for a new trader. Please do not fall into that trap. I would recommend start off swing trading, right? Start off looking at the lowest time frame, the 4 hour, right? And then use the higher time frames to swing trade. And then you could get into scalping and stuff, but you really need to understand how the market moves before you jump into that, in my own personal opinion. If you go back and watch those shorts, it's very much like, all right, guys, I'm short here for these very specific reasons, high probability trade setup. Let's see what happens. And then we sit there and it goes in fast forward. And I'm sitting here on my chair and I'm right in fast motion, I'm spinning in my chair, right? It's a lot less exciting than people realize. I think a lot of new traders want to get in. They just want to buy, sell, boom, boom. Very dangerous situation for a new trader. So just remember that if you guys are learning. Not that you can't try. Please feel free. I think the best way to learn is from experience. So maybe jump on that time frame and bet in demo mode and try your luck, and just you'll see very quickly. You have to understand the higher time frame context. You have to understand where your actual key levels are with the high probability areas where you'll get a bounce. There's a lot of stuff that goes into trading. It's not as easy as just pressing buy and sell 100 times a day and making a ton of money. Let's see. Some new traders also try to swing for the fences and they get wrecked. Yeah, absolutely. Trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is a get-rich-slow game, right? It is a get-rich slowly over time game. It is a number one over everything. Learn the skill of TA, learn the skill of trading, and then the money comes, right? You want to focus on the skill and the money will follow. Do not get into trading hoping to just get in, watch one YouTube video, watch one tutorial, and then just get in and try to make $10,000 on a trade. That is a very, very dangerous situation, and almost nobody can do it, right? I wish there was legitimate statistics. You could get lucky. I actually got lucky in the beginning. I thought I was a genius, and I was like, oh my God, why didn't I find this sooner? I just made more than I make at work in a day in 5 minutes. Oh my God. Turns out, surprise, surprise, I just got lucky, right? And then I had to go through the difficult journey of, learning an actual strategy, sticking to the plans, right? Not breaking my rules. And then it was a long journey, guys. I got chopped up for a while. I've blown up more accounts. I say this every day. I've blown up more accounts than everybody in here combined. I am a thick-headed Sicilian. I had to learn the hard way. So please take the lessons that I teach here and bring it into your own journey. And please make my mistakes not worth nothing, right? If I can help you guys learn from all the mistakes I made and save you time in your trading journey, it's the whole point of this is hopefully my mistakes and journey can help you guys kind of expedite your learning process and hopefully not feel as much pain. But just understand, you have to feel the pain. It's part of the game. So yeah. Anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to Kodan, says, I am 2 years into trading and still not profitable. Kodan, it is, that's not an unlikely story. That's a very common story. It took me a long time as well. I wish I was better at marking the moment where I knew I started really figuring it out. But I probably had a similar journey to that, brother. I was getting wrecked for quite some time. I was gambling for a while. The pain is real. Yeah, shout out to Eddie. Absolutely. And there's a reason, guys. There's a reason, right? I say this all the time too. We're going to move into the altcoins in just a second. But I say this all the time. If it's too good to be true, it probably is, right? So chances of you getting into trading and just becoming a millionaire in a couple weeks, right, is basically impossible, right? But I get people ask me to teach them how to trade, friends to teach me how to trade. Hey, bro, when you come back, could you sit down with me? Family members, can you sit down with me and give me a little crash course on trading? And I'm like, don't threaten me with a good time. I'll talk about this stuff till I'm blue in the face. If you guys can't tell, I do it every day, right? But it's I start to sit down and I start to get in the weeds. I'm very upfront with them. Me sitting down with you for even 2 or 3 hours to give you a crash course on trading is not going to allow you to just go hit the market and make money. That's not how it works, right? This is a very high income skill to learn. And you're not going to be able to jump into the market and make more than a brain surgeon without some kind of time investment, money investment, and very likely and almost guaranteed both of those, right? But it's just funny, people will blow so much money on college, so much time, 4 full years of learning how to do their craft in college, right? Go into debt, and they're totally fine doing that. A lot of people don't get a good return on their investment doing that. I know I didn't, but when it comes to trading, it's everyone falls into that quick get rich quick scam. But what if you just treat it like going to college? I'm going to give myself 2 to 3 years. Screw it, 4 years, right? I'm going to give myself 4 years to study this craft, And after 4 years, if I just still am as bad as I was the first year, then I would call it a scam, right? But that's kind of the point that I got to. I was like, listen, if I just if I just do this every day and genuinely try my best and don't give up for 3 years, it's impossible for me to not be a better trader or very likely start making money after 3 years of actually trying my hardest. Not watching one YouTube video for 5 minutes or trying to find an indicator. That's why I'm very don't fall for the get rich quick stuff, guys. Trust me, it's a waste of time. I tried it, right? So, it's like skip the signals groups, skip the buy and sell indicators, and just give yourself time to learn this skill, because if you could put the time investment in and, learn from your mistakes and build your skill over a few years or maybe a year or maybe 2 years, everyone's journey is different. Some people move faster than others. But if you could just do that, go into it with the time investment in mind and understand that you're here to learn a very valuable skill. It's not going to happen overnight, right? If it was, everyone would be a profitable trader. But what is the actual reality? A very small percentage of people make money trading, right? And there's a reason for that. But it's super, if you're able to figure it out and become profitable, it's like the most rewarding thing on earth. I can tell you that from experience. Genuinely, it is the best thing ever, right? And there's still hard days, right? I still lose trades. I still have bad weeks. Sometimes I have a bad month, right? There's never, once you figure it out, right? Everyone's looking for the, what's it called? They're looking for the secret pill, right? Oh, I just need to know this one thing and then I'll make a ton of money really fast. That's not how it works, right? Even when you get experience and you start becoming profitable and you make money, it's not just like a happy-go-lucky you're getting rich every single day, right? You're still going to lose trades. Setups are going to go against you. You're going to get emotional. You're going to make mistakes again, right? It's never just going to be this super easy road. And I don't know, as high income as this skill can be, I don't know why anyone would expect that. I expected it, right? I don't know why. I'm sitting here if I want to make a ton of money, why would I think it's going to be super easy, right? Anything worthwhile, anything valuable is not going to be slow. It's not going to be fast. It's not going to be like an easy fix, right? So there is no magic pill. There's no secret shortcut, right? You have to put the time in, which I say this all the time, should motivate you, right? Because it means it's not a scam. If I was saying, oh, just get in, buy, sell, you're going to make $1 million in 2 days, right? Then it's probably too good to be true. Probably a scam, but it's not. It's a skill that you could develop over time. So just take that, go into it knowing that if you make this investment over time, it could change your life completely. I promise you that. Let's see. I'm a good example to use. Shout out to Self Wealth Crypto. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Isaac Newton said, the reality is we live in our mom's basement still. Shout out to Isaac Newton. And listen, you could get out of your mother's basement. I promise you. I promise you. Mom! I don't know I think she went to the grocery store. Anyway, shout out to, I forgot who said that. Shout out to Isaac Newton. Let's go. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Tony. Said I have 3 years and learning still and love it. I still learn every single day, guys. But yeah, that's the just fall in love with the process. It's I know it sounds corny. I know it sounds like cliche, but fall in love with the process. It's that's probably the turning point that I had when I said to myself, listen, I'm getting chopped up. But if I just focus, and I already write off getting rich quick in your head, right? I was like, you know what? Screw the money. I'm not going to try to get rich quick. I know people are out here making money doing this. I'm going to dedicate the next 2 to 3 years of my life to put my 100% effort in. And at the end of those 3 years, what are the chances of me being in the same spot I am now, right? It's going to be almost zero, right? If I genuinely try my best. That's with anything. Right, like skateboarding, right? If you ever want to be a skateboarder, you ever try to do a kickflip before you know how to skate? It seems impossible, right? But if you actually, are out there practicing every single day, right? And you say, I'm going to do this for 2 years, right? And I'm not going to stop until 2 years. It doesn't matter if I make no progress or I make a ton of progress. I am not going to stop until I hit the 2-year mark. And then I'm going to look back and see if I made progress. The chances of you making no progress is just about zero if you actually put in the work. So yeah. Just keep that in mind. But anyway, let's continue on. Let's go ahead. I want to take a look at some of the, people looking for the holy grail of trading. Yeah. Shout out to Diaz. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Trust me. I thought the same thing. The reason I say this is because I went through the same journey everybody here is probably in right now. Maybe you're a little further ahead. Maybe you're a little further behind. But I was at that beginner point at some point. I was looking for the magic pill. I was looking for the easy indicator. I was looking for that one strategy, right? But at the end of the day, right, I have a profitable strategy that I use to trade crypto, and I still still lose trades. I still have bad weeks. I still have bad days. I still have sometimes a bad month, right? That doesn't mean that I go back to the drawing board and try to find a new strategy. This is one of the biggest mistakes new traders make is they finally think they figure something out, right? Or they feel like they're starting to get it, and then they have a bad week, and then they're like, oh man, I'm not making money. I didn't make money this week. Like, I got to change my strategy. Meanwhile, it's just statistical, right? You're going to have bad weeks. You're going to have bad months, right? Like, it's just statistical. It doesn't matter, and that's assuming you're doing everything correctly, right? Which takes a long time to develop. Shout out to Mrs. Candles in the chat. Oh, shout out to Mrs. Candles with the St. Patty's Day balloon. Let's go. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Bring in that hand here. Do you have green nails? Let me see. All right, let me see them. Let me see them, Mrs. Candles. Come on, Mrs. Candles. Ask Mrs. Candles. Mrs. Candles, do I ever get stressed out in trades? Be honest. She's, I have no idea. Well, do I ever get crabby when you come into the office and I'm looking at candles and money on the chart? She said all the time, right? So it's that's never going to be that get-rich-quick scheme. But there's the Mrs. Candles green nails. Let's get a sniff. Let's get a little sniff. A little sniff. Oh, all right. She's going to pump now. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Can you place this? Actually, no. Hang on. We're getting decorative, baby. We're getting decorative. Drop those Mrs. Candles hands in the chat if you got them. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Let's see. Can we see it? Oh, it's kind of in there. Just make it a little shorter. A little shorter. There we go. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Bringing the decorative nature to the Frank Candles live stream. Let's go. Creepy sniffing. Shout out to J Valid. I'm sorry. That was aggressive sniffing. That was very aggressive sniffing. Shout out to all the Irish Mafia out there. You know, we might be Italian, but you know, we love the Irish Mafia as well. Are your toenails green too? Isaac Newton wants to know. They are. I see your socks. You're wearing all green today, huh? Oh, Mrs. Candles got green socks on. You're wearing green all around, huh? And they're ducks with hats. Are ducks related to St. Patrick's Day? Nice. Are you wearing green underwear is the question. Okay, sorry. She said don't get weird. Sorry, guys. She won't answer the question. Anyway, all right, let's continue on here, guys. Let's take a look at Ethereum. I think we broke down Bitcoin enough. We'll see what happens here. Oh, man. Oh, God. Yeah, we'll see what happens. What? Shout out to Mrs. Candles. There we go. It's perfect. Look at the pot of gold, guys. If you stick through the journey of trading and you stop trying to get rich quick, that pot of gold might be on the other end of the rainbow. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Only thing is that rainbow road, guys, might be very bumpy. But anyway, let's continue on. Ducks are just cute. Yeah, shout out to Kembro. I like ducks. Mrs. Candles actually asked me this weekend if I would ever get ducks because she said she wants to get ducks to lay eggs. She said they lay a lot of eggs and they taste really good and they last longer than chicken eggs. And eggs are expensive nowadays. Not that I've ever personally, I guess Mrs. Candles knows that because she buys the eggs. I don't even think we don't eat that many eggs. But anyway, I've heard that eggs are very expensive. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on here, guys. Let's take a look at Ethereum. And to be quite honest, guys, Ethereum's just still kind of sitting in the same situation that it's been in for quite some time, right? We're just bing-bonging around at this. I mean, you can't make it up, guys. Every single time. On Friday, we looked at Ethereum. And where were we sitting? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Right here. Where is Ethereum? Right here. So my thesis, right, at least for the short term on Ethereum, remains exactly the same, guys. We have our volume profile here sitting between value area high at 1942, POC sitting at 1848, and your value area low sitting at 1645. This is your local range, right? If we are able to get a bigger breakout, get above this value area low, flip it to support, and get a bigger push up. Key levels remain the same as what we've been looking at recently, right? Golden Pocket sitting at $2,000, 786 sitting at $2,060, and then the value area low / bigger doorway to higher prices is sitting at about $2,100, right? So, you know, again, FOMC is probably going to be pretty crazy this week. What's going to happen? We'll see, right? It's kind of unpredictable at this point, but we have, you know, daily. Come on, give me that daily. Yeah, daily VWAP kind of just hanging out there. You have your 2- and 3-day green dots confirmed, just like on Bitcoin. 4-day green dot is looking to print. You can see that VWAP working its way up towards that 0 line right now. So we'll see if that green dot can print on the 4-day. We can get that bigger push up. 5-day green dot is printing. 6-day green dot looking to print. And then your weekly green dot is also looking to print. But just like on Bitcoin, that money flow is still in the red. So we have to be careful. Any bigger pushes to the upside could be to put in lower highs and continue to the downside. Even if we get a bigger retracement, we still have to be careful on some local Fibonacci levels for lower highs and lower lows until until the money flow can turn back into the green. When we want big moves up, we need to see the opposite of what we see here. Now, unless we see something like this where we just get a fake out into the green, typically when you want a big move to the upside, you want to see money flow spend some time in the red and cross over into the green. This is a good sign, even though you get the little fake outs here. You know, you already went through a pretty good bear market. Money flow is in the red on the weekly. Once you get these money flow crossovers, the idea is that the trend will continue to the upside, in which case it did, right, in a big way. That's what you want to see for a big move up. What you don't want to see for a big move up is this. This is honestly what you would want to see for a big move down. Fresh money flow crossover on the 2-day. So our hopes here, if we're going to see this thing rip back to the upside and there's going to be some kind of alt season at some point, right, we have to get this money flow to cross back into the green. So any pumps are going to be looked at as lackluster for lower highs and continuations down. The question is, Frankie, where should we be looking for lower highs? I don't know if I'm going to cover like all of the levels just because I don't think they're all relevant as of right now. But I mean, we could even pull from this high to the low, right? The first local levels that I'd be paying attention to are going to be this golden pocket and 786 value area low. $2,000 to $2,000 to, you know, this is basically $2,000, right? Golden pocket sitting at 2K, and then the 786 value area low sitting between $2,059 and $2,100, right? So if we do come up, we got to be careful within this retracement zone. And then once you get above that value area low, we may be able to get a bigger push up, which we could find those key levels when the time comes. But as of right now, those are the key levels. Break out above 1940, right? Go into the golden pocket. That's your first key level. Get above there. 786 value area low between 2100 and 2059 are going to be the next key levels. Now, like I've been talking about recently, guys, the bigger move down, right? Let's assume that Bitcoin does want to go test 70,000 to 72K, right? I do think that's a situation where maybe, even if we come up here and get accepted back into the range, right? Big key level, if we get a big drop on Ethereum, the big level to look at, in my opinion, we talked about this when Sin City came to hang out in the live stream. They asked me what levels I was going to be looking at on Ethereum, where I would be buying, right? This is the big level. Value area low, macro 786. This 786 is the full 786 from the bear market lows of 2022 all the way to the high here, right? 786 value area low sitting between 1645 and 1568. And it's pretty nice, right? Because if we get stuck in here, whether we get a retracement and then come back in, or we just get stuck in here now, lose that POC at 1850, the drop down to at least the value area low is likely. And then if we deviate down here and we get some bullish confirmations, we can look for a reclaim of that value area low and then look to get another bigger push up. And then hopefully, you know, that was the end of the big pullback and we can get the larger move up. But other than that, Ethereum remains exactly the same. Market Cipher B looks very similar to Bitcoin. And those are all the key levels that I will be watching. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Index. Said we don't need ETH. Time for something new, newer, cheaper, and faster and better. Shout out to Index. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, right? Obviously, there's better stuff out there at this point. But again, you know, I just don't see a world where Ethereum doesn't get some kind of new all-time high. Like, I don't know, $4,800 being the all-time high forever on Ethereum just seems pretty crazy to me. You know, is it impossible? No, obviously, especially, and you know, there are better, cheaper, faster things out there for sure, right? You can't argue that. But I just don't know if that means that Ethereum's never going to go up again, right? Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Pollo, said, Frankie, if ETH hits 1167, the ETH Foundation gets liquidated for $900 million. If that happens, $700. Yeah, I mean, that would be absolutely brutal if that happened. You know, at that point, I would be down big time. I would be down big. I'd be down big boy money if that happened. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You know, obviously I'm not 100% of my portfolio is ETH, not 100% of my portfolio is Bitcoin. I would take a pretty big hit if that did happen, but I don't know, like ETH being topped out forever, it just seems crazy in my opinion. But anything is possible in these markets, guys. And you know, as we always say, risking is investing. That's what I always say, guys. Or is it investing is risky? I don't know. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Let's see. Shout out to TBK, said, Frankie finally caught up, but gotta watch the premium after I finish here. But what do you think of the 40X trader? Does he know something we don't? Yeah, listen. I don't play in too much of that stuff, right? I say this all the time, right? Like, I am a 99% technical trader. I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion on that. Like, if I think that P.O. says, does Frankie stake his crypto? I do. Probably not as much as I should. I do leave a decent bit on the table for not staking as much as I should. So yeah, shout out to P.O. Quick answer to that question, just because I thought it was funny. But yeah, I don't really have a huge I don't really have a huge opinion on the 40x trader. If he gets liquidated, they get liquidated. I don't really play too much into that stuff, right? Like, I trade 99% off the charts. Pump it! Shout out to Fortnite Jills. Hopefully, I hope so. Please send it to the upside. I would prefer, again, the move to the upside for sure. And again, yeah, Gen Z says, I'm 99% ETH. Shout out to Gen Z. Hey, bro, I'm about 99% in ETH. But yeah, it's really hard, right? Like, I can't come up here and say it's guaranteed that ETH will, oh, guys, guaranteed ETH's going to make a new all-time high. I think it'll happen, right? But, again, I'm not some, like, I could be wrong, right? We're right most of the time, but, we have been wrong before. I will be wrong again. It's impossible to be right 100% of the time. I just think it's crazy, right? Like, especially like ETF stuff. It's I think it's low probability that it never goes back up. I mean, I'm definitely not gonna, I would say this, right? Anybody buying ETH up here, like, me personally, I didn't buy ETH all the way up here, but like, if I was buying ETH up here and I'm down 50%, like, unless I had super strong conviction this thing was never gonna go back up, I would not be selling at a 50% loss. I just can't do that. Shout out to CJ. Said Frankie's trying to play it off like he's not the 40x trader. CJ, let's keep it on the low. Let's keep it on. Anyway, let's continue on here. Shout out to CJ. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm Diamond Hands, baby. Yeah, shout out to Gen Z. We're in it together, Gen Z. We're in it. We go to zero together. We can we'll cry together. It's okay. Shout out to Chemistry Bro. Said the ETH is slow and expensive narrative is semi-wrong. I love Chembro dropping this sauce in here, bro. I love when you drop these little nuggets in here. He said it's semi-wrong. Other coins would struggle to run what's on ETH. Meme trading volume doesn't count, and that's all Sol. That's all Sol's got. Plus, base is cheaper and faster anyway. Yeah, shout out to Chembro. I mean, listen. I would agree with that, Chembro. And listen, I've been here. I've been in this space for a long time. I've been in crypto since 2016, the tail end of 2016 into 2017. These narratives are all over the place, right? Like, this one's going to go to zero for this, right? Like, and it's just, it's sometimes true, right? If there's a solid argument, but like, they can update ETH, they can improve it. There's so many things can happen, right? Like, all these narratives are true until something happens, right? Like, understand this. And this is not just with projects, right? Like, this is just in general with crypto, right? Like, cause, and with the experience that I have, guys, Bitcoin coming down like this, right? Exchanges going to zero, FTX, all this crazy stuff, right? Even me, who has been through all these cycles, even me, I'm sitting down here, buying down here like, oh my God, is this really going to go to zero? Maybe this is the time it goes to zero. There's always that uncertainty. Like, what if this thing goes to zero? Like, what if the regulation comes in? What if all these exchanges cause crazy regulation and everything just dumps down to zero? Should I be selling everything but Bitcoin? Should I be getting out completely? But what did I do? I bought all the fear. And like, all it takes is a snap to the upside before it's the most bullish sentiment ever. These sentiment changes so fast on things in this space. So yeah, I mean, again, I could be wrong. If I get wrecked on my ETH, guys, I will show up here and go down with the ship. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. Yo, Frankie, shout out to Rockstar Cole, said, yo, Frankie, you gotta stop moving the market with those trades, or at least let us know. Shout out to Rockstar Cola. That'd be sick. Like, imagine we just had like billions and billions of dollars, and I could be like, everybody jump in right now. We're about to send it. Golden. Send it up, brother. Send it up. But anyway, let's continue on. Okay, so we took a look at Ethereum. We can take a look at Solana as well. I'll be honest with you guys here. Let's pull up Solana. Where am I at? Where's our Solana chart? There it is. Okay, so for Solana, let's see here. So we very simply put, we deviated below the volume profile. Real quick before we jump into that, guys, just because this just popped into my head, it's the same thing on Polkadot, right? Everybody, right? And this is like with backed information, because this is already played out, and I have in the Discord we talked about this move to the upside and why it might happen. So here's the thing. as Polkadot is dumping down here, right? Everybody is thinking, oh my God, Dino Coin going to zero. It's never coming back this cycle. This thing's never going to go back to the upside. But what did we spot on the Discord, right? I knew that we had a large 2-day bullish divergence. And just from a technical perspective, that is a reversal signal, right? Lower lows on price, momentum is coming up. That's the discrepancy. Price is coming down, but momentum's coming up. That is why that doesn't make sense, right? That's what triggers the reversal, right? And when we came down here, not only was everybody like, oh my God, DOT's dead. It's a Dino Coin. It's never going to pump. Oh my God, what's happening, right? A ton of people were shorting the bottom, right? And this is what made me bullish over everything. When I saw it was coming down here and I saw on our, I'm not going to go over the full thing. I would pull it up in the Discord. We have literal posts from back here at 446, I think was where we spotted the short squeeze. But we had a ton of people shorting Polkadot as it came down to the low. They were shorting the bottom, and even on the way up, they were continuing to short. Everybody was certain this was going to go to zero, and you could see by looking at the order flow that people were betting on it, right? And when I see that, I'm thinking, okay, you guys think it's going to zero? Let's send it to the upside, right? And we pictured, or we were able to see that everybody was shorting this thing at the low. When you see all that short interest coming in at a key level or down at low prices like this, right? You have to think to yourself, is this the best time to short Polkadot after it's gotten a massive move down? Probably not, right? And when you see all the futures traders shorting into this, and not only do we have the futures traders shorting the heck out of this at the low, we also had spot buyers coming in. By looking at the spot CVD, we could see that buyers were coming in, buying and holding DOT on spot. And when you see uptrends supported by spot buying volume, dang, I'm going to have to come back here a little bit, right? When you see these uptrends fueled by spot buying, right? Like I said, we were in an uptrend here, right? And everyone's shorting into this, right? But how could everybody be shorting but prices coming up? Well, it's because people were buying and holding Polkadot on spot. People were waiting for a big dip on DOT, and they were buying, right? So a lot of buying interest came in here. And all those people shorting, thinking this thing was going down to zero, they were 100x shorting, probably with no stop loss, liquidity above. We were able to see that as the future CVD was coming down, showing us that everybody was shorting, and then they had the future CVD coming down, showing everyone was shorting. And then we had the spot CVD coming up, showing us that spot buyers were buying and holding. This uptrend was fueled by spot buying. Everyone's shorting, but price is coming up. It's because people are buying and holding DOT on spot, right? And if that buying continues, guys, price is going to creep, and price is going to creep. And then once it breaks into all those stop losses, you are very likely to get a massive short squeeze to the upside, right? And then you also have more short interest coming in on the way up, people trying to short lower highs. And it's just like the narrative here is like, oh my God, DOT's going to zero. Everybody short it, right? It just gives you that big fuel for the massive pump to the upside. So when people say things are dead, typically you get a move to the upside. Now, does that mean DOT's definitely going to go into massive new all-time highs? Not necessarily. But it just goes to show with something like Ethereum, right, sitting at such low levels, right, everyone thinks it's dead. And that's not to say that you can't come down even more, right? But when everyone starts to feel like that, typically some kind of big move is ahead, right? So, the question is the low in, or are we going to come down lower? That's the hard part, right? And I haven't checked for a short squeeze building on Ethereum, but if we had a setup like that, it could mean that, right? So just to kind of point out that, like, when you have these narratives, I hear these narratives all the time over the past years, right? Everyone thinks it's dead. Just because everyone thinks it's dead, not only does it mean that it's dead, but it also means a lot of times that you can get a big push to the upside, right? Literally means the opposite. So again, I just want to be, ETH could go to zero. Who knows, right? I just don't fall in that camp. And that's why, right? It's not just because like I'm an ETH maxi, right? I'm not. I'm very much, I'm a nothing maxi, right? I'm on a what chart is going up maxi, right? I don't care what the project is really. I have projects that I invest in long-term that I like. But when it comes to trading, it's like if the chart says it's going up, I'm making a decision based off that. I don't care what people say. As a matter of fact, when people are super bearish, I'm probably feeling pretty bullish. So there you go. Like actual information-backed kind of example there. Let's see. Okay, so Chainlink, yeah, we could take a shout out to Ash. We could take a look at Chainlink as well. I used to trade news in 20 to 2021. Lost the shout out to Nicholas. I'm not surprised, but that's okay. You got to learn from your mistakes, bro. Don't feel bad about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at, or take a continued look at Solonzo, our favorite coin. I'm just kidding. At the end of the day, right, we deviated below the volume profile. Take a look at a higher time frame here. Take a look at the daily. Bada boom. And what do we have here, right? We have daily bullish divergences, lower lows on our price action, higher lows on our momentum waves, right? Below the volume profile on the deviation below, this is your undervalued asset. This is where you want to look for longs in anticipation of getting above into your local volume profile, flipping the value area low to support, which is sitting right here at 126.72. Hold above this level. Doorway to the POC is open, 142.97. Get on top of that POC. Get a move up to the value area high at 167.40. 167.40. Now, obviously, with the way things have been here, 2-day money flow in the red, 3-day money flow crossing over into the red as well, any pushes to the upside we would have to view as lackluster pushes for lower highs and continuations down, which we have our next key levels of support that we looked at last week, sitting between $108 and $80, right? But we don't have to cross that bridge till we get there. Right now, we have the bull divs confirmed, right? We also have our 4-day green dot looking to print, just like on everything else. So we'll see. Maybe the higher time frame green dots can hold us. Maybe we can, get a little push up here from the value area low if we can hold it. But we'll see. If we lose this, it might be coming down to the lower volume profile. Again, market cipher a little bit choppy here. Yeah, 2-day, like into the red, into the green, into the red, into the green, generally trending to the downside. So, I'm not saying I'm long in Solana down here. If I were long in Solana, it would probably be from down here somewhere. But, as of right now, from a technical perspective, you are inside your volume profile. If you hold above the value area low, next target would be the POC at 142.84. If you break down in a big way, lose the range, and get imbalanced to the downside, very naturally, price will gravitate towards this value area high at 107.37. Get stuck under here, we can look for that value area below as a guide. But other than that, we're just still kind of sitting around here, right? Deviate the low, back to the POC, back to the high. Deviate the high, back to the POC, back to the low, back to the POC, back to the high. Deviate, back in to POC, value area low, back to the high, back to the POC, front run the high, back to the low, right? This is what we're looking at. Breakdown, get stuck underneath the value area high, POC value area low. Bounce off the low, go to the high. Back to the POC, back to the low, deviate the low. Hopefully, you could, potentially push into the POC value area high. Not guaranteed, but again, I wouldn't say there's any beautiful setup here on Ethereum right now, unless you were longing somewhere down here based off of the daily bull div printing. We also have a 30-minute bull div, 24-minute bull div, right? Oh my God, right? If I were looking here saying, oh, we got a 30-minute bull div, right? Maybe money flow trying to come up here a little bit, maybe working its way up even there, and then you zoom out and you're thinking to yourself, well, hey, what's happening on the higher time frames? Well, hey, I got a 30-minute bull div down here and a daily bull div looking to print. Maybe I can get a push into this volume profile. And then the hope for that would be to hold this level as support and send it to the POC, simply put. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking for. We got a super chat. Hey, shout out to Isaac Newton. Let's go. We got the smartest guy in the world in the chat right now. Shout out to Isaac Newton. Said, why is Algorand the best L1 God ever created? Shout out to Isaac. Well, hey, it's also ISO 20022, which is also a benefit. It's an American-made crypto, which could be free of capital gains tax if that ever really does happen. I'll be honest, guys. I'm a little bit of a pessimist when it comes to really, really crazy stuff like that. We're we're never going to have to pay taxes on U.S.-based cryptos. Yeah, that would be great. And I hope that happens, but I like to be I'll believe it when I see it, right? I'll believe it when I see it. But yeah, shout out to Algo. Maybe we'll take a look at Algo here in a minute, but shout out to Isaac Newton. I do hold Algorand. Let's take a look at Algo. Shout out to Isaac Newton. H-Bar's at a good price. Shout out to H-Bar as well. Another ISO 20022. Again, let me see. Let me pull up CoinMarketCap, guys. They do have a US-based crypto tab that you can look at, right? And there may be something to look into, right? You definitely, I would say, you definitely want to have some kind of ISO in your portfolio, right? Let's see. Yeah, so I'll just read off some of the list here, right? XRP, Solana, Dogecoin, Cardano, Chainlink, Stellar, H-Bar, Avalanche, Sui, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Uniswap, Aptos, Near, Ondo, Aave, Algorand, right? Render, Filecoin, Caspa, Trump, Optimism, Maker, INJ, SEI, GRT, Theta, Bonk, EOS, Gala, right? Not that doesn't mean all of these are going to just Axelar. Shout out to Axelar. So yeah, I would go to CoinMarketCap, go to that USA tab. Definitely not a bad set of coins to keep an eye on. Come back over to the current chat here. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a look at Algorand. So Algo, on the daily, let me pull this fib real quick from the pin low here, the move. Oof. Yeah, so right now, I mean, even if you pull it from the impulse here, yeah, you're losing that 786. Let's go to the actual low here. Yeah, playing with the 786 from the absolute low to the high. So, this same fib pull on Ethereum, this same fib pull on Ethereum is the $1,600 to $1,500 mark, right? From the low to the high. So we come back over to Algorand. Yeah, we're starting to lose that, which I don't really love. Doesn't mean that, H-bar's garbage and never going back up, right? It's just something to note. And in general, right, our larger volume profile here, our macro bear market volume profile, value area high 22 cents, POC at 11.51, and then the value area low at 10.5 cents. At this point, right, we came up in here, kind of pretty much respected this volume profile that we had. Almost, right? Started kind of interacting with that. Not really perfectly. But yeah, like this value area high was key. Once you break down below this value area high, the doorway to potentially get that move back down to your POC could be open, right? POC value area low. Unfortunately, this POC, this might change from different exchanges, but this POC is very close to the value area low, which kind of stinks because typically you have the POC in the middle of the range that can hold you up, right? I wouldn't hate that. And oftentimes on a lot of altcoins, that golden pocket set or that 786 or golden pocket is usually confluent with that midpoint or POC of the range. And right now we are trying to lose that 786, which is not a great sign. And we are now back inside our larger range. So if we can't just yeet on out of this value area, and we get stuck in here, right? Next major level is going to be the POC sitting here at about 11 cents. Not really what a lot of people want to see or hear, but the level is on the chart. Now, one thing that you could look at is this local profile here. This could offer some local support. You have a value area high sitting here at 1490, and then this POC value area like super confluent level right there. But yeah, to be honest, like I don't like that we're back in this range. We really got to work on out of here. You got to get above 22, almost 23 cents to kind of invalidate the idea of getting accepted into this range and get a move down to the low. But from a volume profile perspective, guys, just straight up honest, you're back in your range, right? You can't get out of here. Bigger drop to the POC could be in the cards. So hopefully we don't have to do that. Hopefully we can just get things to pick up here. But maybe if Bitcoin wants to go test that $70,000 to $72,000 level, maybe we see Algorand kind of work its way down here to 11 cents. Doesn't mean it's a garbage project. It just means, hey, if Bitcoin's going to go down, why would the altcoins rip, right? And if we don't have the looser monetary policy, why would everything rip? Right. And again, if they're going to kind of try to introduce max pain to get that looser monetary policy, you got to get that max pain, right? And that could be calling for those next key levels. So I would be watching those lower levels on Algorand if you cannot break back above 23 cents. Get above 23 cents. Maybe you could get out of here. But again, looking at your money flow, this 3-day money flow is pretty much telling us that, hey, any big pump to the upside would be looked at as a lackluster retracement for lower highs and lower lows, right? I would like to see this do the opposite. If I were looking for a massive move up, I would want to see a red money flow wave crossing into the green. We do not have that. We have the opposite. I wish I could just call for massive higher prices right now, and hopefully we just get it. Hopefully the TA doesn't matter and we just rip. But based off the analysis here, that's kind of what I'd be looking at. So, yeah, let me actually see something here real quick. Let's pull a fib here from, pull it from this high to the low. No confluence. Trying to see if I have any confluence here on the, so local levels I would watch on Algorand. Local resistance, very important resistance. Local golden pocket 786 value area high confluence right here between 22 and 24 cents. If you wiggle your way up here, this would be an area to look for a lower high and a lower low. If you get above the 786, maybe you can get a little continuation up to your next key levels, but which technically sit at about, I would call it, let me move this a little bit. There we go. So yeah, value area low POC. Change this to resistance. Sitting between about 32 cents and 34 cents, right? So 786, this is the level to get above. And honestly, at that point, you still have some other levels to get above. But kind of first order of business would be to get out of this value area high. Hopefully, you can get up here send it up here. But, definitely a big level to watch over here, right? You have a daily level just above that as well. Right here. Bada boom. You got another daily level right up here. All right, so we got to watch these. These are the key levels locally I would look at for Algorand. Big zone to look at for a rejection. I would maybe even be potentially interested in shorts here as you deviate above the high into your Fibonacci retracement, right? Get above this. Maybe you could work your way up to that other range. But, again, we'll see what the volatility brings here, guys. Again, we are not just, a lot of things at play here macroeconomically. Frankie's not old yet. Shout out to Kelly L. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kelly. Thank you. I feel old. Feeling very 32. Feeling very 32. Let's see. I'll be trading at 90. Shout out to Seth Shepard. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest. It's really funny. Like, a lot of people think like, I'm going to trade forever, right? Granted, I love trading, and I will be trading for a very long time. At some point, right? It is important, guys. Trading can make you a lot of money, but it is also very important to diversify. Like, when you start making money in trading, which you will do at some point, I believe in you. When you get to that point, right, you do want to, obviously, a lot of people think like, well, if you can make money trading, why don't you just bet $1 billion on, one move and just, whatever, make infinite money glitch, right? And although it can feel like that at sometimes, it's not how it works, right? So it is important, right? Like, when you make money in trading, for me personally, at least in the stage that I'm in right now, if I make a bunch of profit day trading, right, a lot of times I will roll that into long-term crypto spot positions, right? I'm not just like continuously risking everything on my short-term trading portfolio because, again, we have bad weeks, we have a bad month sometimes, right? But even outside of crypto, right, when you start making money, the goal is, right, like, the goal is to not trade forever, for me personally, right? Like, obviously, I like teaching, I like trading, and I will be trading for a very long time, but I don't want to be retired in trading. Will I probably do that to some degree? Yes, I will probably take a portion of my money and just trade because I enjoy it and I can make money, but you do want to diversify your income, right? Like, trading is inherently risky, right? There's no if, ands, or buts about it, right? Like, trading is risky. So, like, diversifying into either long-term spot bags, into, safer high market cap coins like Bitcoin, Solana, whatever, Ethereum. Hopefully it comes back. But also investing outside of crypto into things like real estate, right? Into things like other businesses, right? Things that can bring you passive income because trading is an active income source, right? Like, for me, it's not just laying on a beach. And if anyone's telling you they could just lay on a beach, click buy and sell, make $1 million, I would question their legitimacy, right? I'm not just laying on a beach, pressing buy and sell, making $1 bazillion, right? It's very hard work, right? We have to pay attention to the charts. We have to be on the charts all the time. It takes work. This is my active income, right? And then the long-term spot bags, at least the altcoins, not right now, but the long-term spot bags eventually are just more of that, kind of passive long-term growth, right? But even beyond that, right, like, the goal is not to trade forever, right? It's to make a good amount of money trading and diversify that income into other things to diversify, right? So you're not just, in the beginning, you might be betting a lot of your money on your trades, right? Because you don't have a lot to work with. But as you grow that capital, you want to diversify into other things. Like I don't just love crypto and trading, right? Like, I also love, like, financial literacy, right? Like, I'm very into finance and growing capital outside of just trading in general, right? Like, the whole reason I'm interested in trading is because that's my general interest, is money. I'm not someone who worships money. I'm going to wear Gucci and, whatever. It's like, but I am very interested in money and how to grow it. Like, it's just, my interest is money as a thing, right? It's not something I'm interested in. Like, it's not like I worship money, but I just, like, that's my job. I like how you can grow it, and, like, just the idea of growing capital, right? And, like, it's like a game. It's like points on a board, right? It's like playing a game, and, like, it just so happens the way you measure in trading, in investing, in growing money, in business, the way to quantify your success, it just happens to be by the amount of money, right? If your money is going up, you're doing good. If your money is going down, you might be doing bad, right? And that's just the game that I'm in. It just happens to be money, right? But it's very important, right? Like, I would never tell people to just, like, the goal is to just trade for the rest of your life, right? Like, the goal is financial freedom and eventually time freedom, where you don't have to sit at a chart and trade all day, right? That's at least my long-term goal, right? And that's why I do diversify into other things, right? It's not just always about degenning out on the charts 100% of the time, right? You want to set yourself up. And, me personally, right? Maybe some people are out just for money. They want like all the material things, and I like material things, right? But for me, what I'm after and what I was after in the beginning of my journey was freedom, right? Financial freedom, time freedom, right? I have more financial freedom than I do time freedom as of right now, but it's a process, and it's a journey, right? So yeah, like don't chase, right? It's okay to chase material things. I think a lot of people like hate on material things, and I think it's not a black and white answer, right? It's okay if you like Lamborghinis. It's okay if you like nice clothes. It's okay if you like jewelry. It's okay if you like material things, as long as you don't worship them over what really matters, right? In my opinion, right? And maybe people worship that, and that's okay for them, right? But for me, it's freedom. I am after freedom. I don't want to have to stress over things, right? I don't want to have to eventually one day have to be in a certain place at a certain time with someone telling me what to do. I don't have to worry about someone telling me what to do, right? Because I can make my money on my own time, right? Obviously, I have the YouTube channel. We're very structured here, so I do have places to be, right? But it's stuff that I'm doing, and I'm in control of what I want to do. So I'm after freedom. Chase freedom, right? Especially if you're out there and you're struggling financially, just understand this. You probably don't need as much money as you think you do, right? Like for me, my threshold for feeling peace of mind, like peace of mind is something you should be after too, right? Like, if you wind up making a bunch of money trading, or even just make a bunch of money in crypto, don't just go blow it on crazy stuff, right away, right? And if you want to, that's fine too, right? But for me, right, you don't want to just, I didn't just like go out and blow a bunch of money on stupid stuff, right? I buy some stuff, or I bought some stuff, but like the, peace of mind, right? Like that peace of mind is something that is just like invaluable. Right? Like I don't have to worry about paying my rent. I don't have to worry about paying a bill. I don't have to worry about looking at the bill at dinner. I don't have to worry about like a lot of stuff. Like finances bring a lot of stress to people, right? So chase the freedom. Like if I give you any like general advice in your pursuit of making money in this space or whatever space you're looking to make money in, chase freedom, chase peace of mind. Like to me, like what I would recommend to chase is peace of mind, right? Like once you have that peace of mind, you're going to feel rich, right? Like you don't need, like a lot of that stuff is also a liability, right? A lot of that stuff costs money, right? Like it's, if you want to change the brakes on a Lamborghini, it's not $200, right? And like, until you got it like that, don't get ahead of yourself, right? Cause my goal is to help you guys reach financial freedom, right? And not have to worry about this stuff. And yeah, it's like, it's okay to chase money, but it's only because it's how you measure business success or trading success. It's not, oh my God, I made 300 grand. I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini. It's like, hey, I made 300 grand. Maybe I should put that into some like Section 8 rental properties, or maybe I should put that into this that will create me passive income. And then eventually you'll be able to walk away from everything with passive income coming in, right? Anyway, getting on a rant there, but maybe some people need to hear that. Frankie speaking facts from the heart. Yeah, shout out to Simon, 100%. Like you're never going to get anything but facts from me, right? Like, it's chase freedom, chase peace of mind. Like I'll never forget, like, and I like, this is like a long time ago. Like I didn't need as much as I thought to get peace of mind. Like I had a little bit of money and I was like, man, I don't have to like stress about my rent. I felt like and like a lot of people aren't going to tell you that, right? A lot of people are going to flash their Lambos in your face. They're going to flash their cool like, watches or whatever. And let me tell you, I love cars. I love watches, right? But that's not going to really help people, right? Could motivate you. I think it could, right? I think it's important too, but like chase peace of mind, chase freedom, right? Don't get a lump sum of money and just blow it all on a liability, right? And if you want to do that, that's fine too, right? But just from my experience, right? Like get that peace of mind and you're going to feel so good and you're going to be better. You're going to feel better about taking risks, right? Like, once you get a little money in the bank, you could take a risk, right? Knowing that like, hey, if this doesn't go my way, if I want to start this business, because you have to understand, guys, like I am a trader, but I'm also a businessman, right? If you want to start a business, right? Like you could take a little bit of a risk knowing you have a nest egg that's growing with interest or something like that, right? Like however you wind up doing it, or I got real estate that pays me out, right? Like you could take a bigger risk and like that's going to allow you to grow your capital more, right? And whether that's through trading, whether that's through business, or in my case, where it's through many things, right? Like just don't chase the empty part of money, right? Chase like the real freedom, right? Because I'll tell you, like I thought I was like, the second I get enough money, I'm gonna get all this stuff, right? And then like eventually when I hit that milestone, I was just like, yeah, like I think like being able to buy it is kind of really what I was chasing, and like now I'm just gonna like grow more, and then like eventually you just move up the levels, right? And that was something big that really helped me out, right? Like just not like I look back and I'm like, thank God I didn't just like get some money and blow all that money, like because part of the reason I was able to get to where I am now is because I was financially literate, right? And I was like smart with my money, and I invested it into things, and not just crypto, right? Like doing other things with money, right? That's the chase happiness. Yes, maybe your happiness, like not everyone's happiness is driving a cool car. I like cars. I like watches. I like that stuff, but I just don't chase that in the beginning. Right? Chase the freedom. Chase happiness, like Crypto Pollo says. Happiness is different to everybody. Some people a lot of people don't even need that much, right? Like a lot of people I'm just saying, you could probably retire on a lot less than you think if you really think about, what you're chasing. But anyway, financial freedom over everything. Yes, that is the biggest thing. And financial freedom takes a lot of stress out of your life. Not having to worry, not having to stress, not having to be able to go out to eat and not worry or help people. That was a big thing for me. Like one of the biggest things I like to do is help people. That's what gets me going. I love nothing more than being able to help somebody out, help my family out, right? Or even help a stranger out. Tip a waiter a funny amount of money and just watch their face, right? Like that makes me feel good. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that was Random Rants with Frankie Candles. But anyway, let's continue on here. Bada boom, bada bing. Paying rent forward 6 months is awesome. That's what I do. No fancy cars. I drive a 2018 Kia, 27K miles, and paid off. Shout out to Seth. That's what I'm saying. Riches understand this. Like when I see somebody, it's funny enough. I'll when I see someone spend money on certain things, I'm just always you can almost guess what their bank account looks like, right? It's it's a reason that, and I think it goes the other way as well. It goes the other way as well, right? You want to enjoy your money too, right? But it's it's a lot of times, I think it's if you look at that, you can probably look up the statistics. People who drive BMWs and Mercedes is overwhelmingly majority of people who have no money. Right? Those, especially those middle end brands, those people who own those cars most of the time, right? Not everybody, obviously, but a lot of those people who have those cars are chasing something that they should not be chasing, right? Sometimes I see people with a lot of money who chase the wrong things, right? It's just coming from what I understand about money, right? And a lot of those people, right? Every time I see a Mercedes or a BMW, I'm just I wish I knew what their bank account looked like. Hopefully they have a lot of money, but a lot of them are probably living paycheck to paycheck. They don't save any money, right? And that's important, guys. I would love to talk more about financial literacy because it's not taught. And I'm very lucky. I have a smart businessman dad that talked a lot of financial literacy into me. And some of the best advice that I ever got, and after years and years and years of getting the advice and coming out to where I am now, the best advice I ever got was make $1, act like you make 50 cents, and you'll never be broke a day in your life. And that is the absolute fact. And then not being broke a day in your life very quickly comes to, I have a large surplus of money. Oh, now I could do whatever I want. And I promise you guys, getting in that position is just such a relaxing and freeing feeling to not have to rely on other people and have that financial freedom. I promise you that. Anyway, follow God. Yeah, shout out to Jay Bella. Firearms and security. Shout out to, hey, let's go. That's another sense of security. I just want to live by the beach. Yeah, find your why, right? Find your why. Find what you want in life and chase that. Don't chase other people. Don't get caught in the rat race. Trust me. Don't get caught in the rat race. Go after what you want. And if that's a Lamborghini, go get the Lamborghini. But just make sure you can afford it when you get it. Right? Don't and also don't, especially in a crypto bull run. This is the reason why I think it's important to talk about this, because a lot of you guys, if you stick around in crypto enough, you're going to make a big amount of money. You're going to make a lump sum of money. You're going to wake up one day and be like, "Oh my God, I got money now." This is conditional, right? There's not a bull run every 5 minutes, right? This is a small window of opportunity that you're seizing to make money. Use that money to set your life up. Don't make 300 grand blowing on a Lamborghini and then you can't fix a Lamborghini because you're in a bear market, right? I am here to help you. I'm not here to just tell you blow your money on stupid stuff, right? So just be careful. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that, but I know they don't teach this in schools, and I'm very lucky that I have people around me, family, successful people around me to teach me this, right? If I didn't, I probably would not be where I am, because years ago I would have just spent all my money on stupid stuff, right? But yeah, let's see. All right, let's continue on. So we took a look at Solana, guys. We took a look at Ethereum. To be quite honest with you, other than that, we'll take a look at Chainlink, because Chainlink has gotten, Chainlink's kind of looking somewhat interesting. I was going to say, where the heck is the TA? Took a little minute to load there. So yeah, for Chainlink, listen, very similar to what we just looked at on Solana, right? We got below the value area low, right? We deviate below. You had some local bullish divergences, right? This is the 90 minutes specifically, but you deviate below the low, right? You get back in, you hold the value area low to support. Where do you go next? POC, right? Now we're bing bong below the POC. If we flip this, I would be looking up towards the golden pocket, sitting right here between about 1543 and 1561. Flip above that, push into the 786 at 1642. Break above that. You could be just looking at that journey through your volume profile, right? And then, let's say you're long from the low, bounce off the value area low, POC, flip the POC, you start your journey up to the value area high, and you make 300 grand. You take that and you put it into rental properties that pay you passive income every month. You don't buy the Lambo. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Buy the Lambo, guys. Buy the Lambo. I'm just kidding. Just make sure you can afford it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, pretty much, right? Like, we're just within this volume profile, right? We deviate below the low, and like this is a volume profile that we've been looking at for quite some time, guys. Quite some time. Deviate below the low. This is where we look for longs. Now, would I be longing Chainlink right now, right this second? Not necessarily, right? Like, the long opportunity, in my opinion, was down here on the deviation below. Flip it, POC, golden pocket, 786, value area high. Right? So I wouldn't necessarily be longing right now. Market cipher B, super chopped up right now. I don't really feel comfortable giving a direct, like, confident prediction here on, like, if we're going to yeet up here. Based off the volume profile, we've swept the lows or deviated below the lows. Even got a nice little SFP here of the previous wick that we flipped to support on the value area low back in November, right? So you come in. Not only did you have, like, low time frame bull divs, you also had the daily lower lows, higher lows, right? And you're looking at that like, hey, stay inside this range. You could kind of work your way through the volume profile to the high. Just be aware that you do have the local profiles, because if you look at the higher time frames, take a look at your 2-day, money flow coming out. This is more indicative of lower highs and lower lows, in which case you could be headed in the bearish scenario all the way down here. Value area high, POC, value area low. You can see we already kind of stuck that as support, right? So if auction market theory, right, let's say we put in the lower high and we start losing this range, imbalance to the downside, we are very likely to get gravitated down here, right? So that's the bearish case. These are the key levels down below, right? But as of right now, we don't have to worry about this. This is sitting value area high at about 1182, POC sitting at 1057, value area low at 990, right? So, as of right now, we don't have to worry about that. But if you lose the range, that's definitely where we're going, in my opinion, right? But until then, we could just keep an eye on our upper profile here. This is the profile we're living in. Stay above the value area low. Sitting at, get rid of this daily now that it is tapped, right? This is tapped. No, this daily is, this is an old daily. Hilariously enough, there's one right there anyway. But, daily, daily, give me this 7/8. Yeah, so daily value area low sitting between, I would call it $12.83 and $13, right? So, or $13.03, right? So we come down. As long as we stay above this blue box, POC opportunity remains open. Flip that POC, look to go to the golden pocket, 786, right? And potentially the value area high. Just understand you have these local turbulent levels between you and the value area high. If you're just looking at this from a volume profile perspective, it's like, hey, we get above that POC, we can start our journey up to the value area high. Just understand it's a journey, and you might bing bong around a little bit. So that's what I look at. That's the major range. Lose it. You got the lower range down there. Higher time frame money flow still looking kind of sketchy, right? So be careful those lower highs and lower lows. And I'll even pull up that fib so you guys can kind of visualize where that's sitting. So there you go. Those are the key levels on Chainlink. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Somebody said Randy. Is Randy here? Shout out to Randy. Shout out to Randy Hip. Is she in here? Shout out to Wick 589. Yo, Wick 589 Classic is crazy. Shout out to Wick 589 said, ever see a hero holding onto a ledge by their stank fingers? That's what XRP feels like at all times these days. Shout out to Wick 589. Let's go ahead and take a look at XRP real quick. Actually, I did want to take a look at this because I'm just going to leave these drawings here real quick, right? So on XRP, right, we actually looked at this last week. I guess I'll get rid of the drawings at this point. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, right? So we were looking at this on the live stream, right, saying, hey, I'm looking for a deviation below the low. We did get some bullish divergences. I'm not going to cover it in full, right? We look for bullish divergences down here. Same thing, right? Undervalued asset. This is where you look for longs. Oh my God, everything's going to zero. Oh my God, everything's going to zero. Deviation below the low, bullish confirmations. We look for a move up. Flip the value area low to support. Where's the next likely place for price to go? The POC right here. I'm sorry. POC right here, sitting at 241. We came up, we rejected it, and right now we are basically just sitting within this range, right? This is just kind of, we were talking about this, I think, in the premium Discord, or maybe last week on the live stream, maybe we were talking about this, just saying, hey, this is our volume profile, guys, right? Simply put, flip the low, POC. Get above the POC, look to come up to the value area high. And you can see we even pulled into our golden pocket 786, and that's where you look for the rejection. Where's the rejection come in? Right on the front run of that 786. But at the end of the day, this is an intermediary level, in my opinion. So, at the end of the day, right now, based off the volume profiles, I'll just hide these real quick. These are just kind of examples. Right? If we flip that POC, where are we looking? Value area high. Anything confluent with the value area high? Well, we got the golden pocket. Right? The golden pocket is sitting right at that value area high, so we're going to go up for that golden pocket retracement, flip the POC, sitting at about 259, 260, and 263, right? Simple volume profile. A lot of these coins dipped their volume profile, flipped them to support, and they're hitting that POC. Flip that POC, look for the next move up to the highs. Deviate above there, we could potentially look for shorts again, right? So, yeah, and that's, again, kind of the idea here, right? Longs at the lows, shorts at the highs. Get the confirmations, look to come back in, POC, value area low. Right? You have to know what confirmations to look for. Obviously, we do that in the premium Discord. But, yeah, other than that, we're just within our range here for XRP. Not really too much to update. Deviation, back in. Deviation, back in. Deviation, back in. Right? Deviation, back in. Full rotation of the low. Right? So that's the context I'm looking at. And shout out to Wick589. I 100% agree, bro. It's like... man, this thing is I'll be honest, as far as the altcoins go especially, right? XRP holding up beautifully here. Almost holding up like Bitcoin is, right? Compared to the other alts, obviously. So, yeah, we're just within our range, right? And this range is pulled all the way back here from January 25th. I'm sorry, January 13th, 2025, obviously. So, these levels get respected. Overvalued, undervalued, overvalued, undervalued. If we go overvalued again and things aren't just screaming to the upside and we're looking for new all-time highs, that may be a place to look for the short again. All right. So there you go. Value area low. Whoops. Value area low sitting at 214. POC sitting at 240. Value area high 259. Confluent with that golden pocket. Simply put. Whoops. We see something here. Yeah, you have golden pocket confluence on your value area low as well. So there's your key support. Boom. Simply put. All right, let's see. Let's jump back into the chat here. Is that a head and shoulders? Could be. Could be. Not something I really trade based off of, but what I do trade based off of would be money flow, right? So I that's probably what you're looking at. There's, here's your kind of, here's your neckline-ish. Let's pull up the daily. Yeah, so is it left shoulder, head, right shoulder? Breakdown? You could look at it like that. I wouldn't say the head and shoulders is what gives you the move down, though, right? Because if we wind up breaking up here and money flow, I will say this, though, right? With the 2-day money flow coming to the downside, hopefully, we just see some kind of crazy thing happen. I think if we get a move up, maybe it happens by surprise. Maybe it's a shock. It's oh, my God, everything was super bearish. Now we're setting back to the upside. But, with the money flow coming out here on the 2-day, let's check the daily. Daily money flow still coming out. As long as this money flow continues trending to the downside, we have to be careful of lower highs and lower lows, which would align with the idea of a head and shoulders, right? But I wouldn't view it that way. I would view it as hey, break down below the 786. This would be your invalidation. Probably going to get imbalance. If you get imbalance, where are you likely to go? You're probably going to come on down here to your macro golden pocket value area high confluence between $1.34 and $1.50. But the way I trade, yeah, so yeah, you could look at that potentially as a head and shoulder situation. But to me personally, it's always a supplemental kind of thing that I look at, right? I'm never oh my God, head and shoulders, let me look for a short. Not that you can't do that. You could totally do that. But for me personally, that's not really how I trade. So I would more look at the volume profile situation, right? Because if we come down here, people might be oh my God, breakdown. But we're looking at this from a Fibonacci standpoint, potential high or low. If money flow agrees, right? You already have the bullish divergences on the daily, which is nice, right? Bull divs at the low as you deviate below. Lower area where you'd be looking for a long, get back into the range, go to the POC. You got that to play out. The volume profiles hit. Once you get back into the range, they hit 80% of the time. Right? Not 100. 80% is not 100, right? But very high probability that if you can get those not only is it high probability that once you get back into the range that you go up to the POC and fill the range to the high, but If you can get the confirmations below the low, you get yourself in an even better situation because you're looking at that as like, hey, like if you can get the long here, great. But like if you could catch the long on the deviation, is this locked? The heck? If you could catch the deviation, right, you're looking at this as like, well, hey, daily bull div potentially forming. Maybe you could get a little bit of a lower time frame confirmation. You had a little 4-hour bull div printing here. Catch the long there, right? You could already be, let's see, value area low here for 7%, right? On XRP, this is a 7% move from the entry here into the value area low. At that point, you could be TP1, stop loss to break even for a guaranteed winning trade, and then just target the POC next. If price breaks down, cool, you stop out in profit. If price keeps going, boom, your little single turned into a home run. And now you can maybe take some more profit here. If it gets above the POC, boom, you got a grand slam, right? It's the beauty of trading the volume profiles. Very simply put, it's the idea of, if you are new here, when you look at a volume profile, below the value area low is looked at as oversold or undervalued or cheap, AKA, right? All the same words for the same, different words for the same thing. Undervalued, undervalued, oversold, oversold, cheap, cheap, cheap. You want to be looking for buys down here, especially if everybody's screaming for zero. And if you could get the technical confirmations to take the trade, there is a very high chance that you will at least retrace to the value area low. And if you could get above that level, there's an even higher chance that you're going to go to the POC, flip that POC, go to the high. This is the bread and butter of my trading strategy. Now, you need to know the actual confirmations to look for. Bull divs are very nice. There's much more to trading than just longing and shorting bull divs. You have to understand the context of the market, etc. But very high probability trading strategy for sure. So there we go. Let's see. Shout out to Daniel or Danny L. Shout out to you, brother. Says, is ETH starting a slow dumping waterfall? Let's see. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if you're talking about like locally. Right? We're just talking like here. Are we just about to start nuking to the downside? Or you're talking about a higher time frame? Kind of hard to see. I mean, obviously, we've already kind of gotten the waterfall to play out here. But yeah, if you actually scrub back, shout out to Daniel. If you scrub back, we actually covered ETH in its entirety. I show all the key levels and what I'm expecting next. If you want to scrub back and check that out. Shout out to ADD Dad. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Said, how about a big, you're out of here for the scammers. Where's the scammers at? We got scammers up in here? Shout out to ADD Dad. Let's go. You're out of here, scammers. Get a scram. Shout out to ADD Dad. Hope you're doing well, bro. Good to see you in here. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Dave Digital said, when Frankie says Grand Slam, does anyone else think pancakes, eggs, and bacon? Shout out to Dave Digital. Is that like a menu item at a restaurant for a breakfast? Is it IHOP? Is it Waffle House? I'm in the ATL. I should know that if it's Waffle House. Shout out to Dave Digital. Let's see. Frankie loves Mean Girls, so he won't make fetch happen. Shout out to Wick589. Hilariously enough, here comes Asuna. Says, could you take a look at Fetch AI? Would appreciate it a lot. Love your stream. Shout out to Asuna. Yeah, we could try to take a look at Fetch. I don't know why I said try. Denny's or IHOP? Shout out to Dave Digital. I've only been to Denny's once. I've been to IHOP plenty of times. That's a big New York place. Waffle House is All-Star. Yeah, that's right. Shout out to D Petty Crypto. Yeah. All-Star. Yeah, man, I probably could have guessed that if I thought about that long enough. I usually go for the bacon hash brown bowl with waffles. Funny enough, I actually asked for pancakes at Waffle House, like when I was less experienced with Waffle House. I asked them if they had pancakes, and they looked at me like I had 10 heads. But I stand in my argument that it's not that weird for a waffle place to have pancakes. IHOP, International House of Pancakes, has waffles, right? So I just figure, coming from New York, I'm like, hey, well, IHOP has waffles. So I asked them if they have pancakes, and they scolded me. I'm surprised they didn't kick me out. I thought they were going to kick me out, guys. I'm not going to lie. I thought they were going to kick me out. Oh, yeah. Shout out to D Petty Crypto. Welcome in, bro. What is going on? He's the one that said All-Star. Shout out to D Petty. Let's go, baby. Where did that chat go? I lost it. Oh, there it is. Shout out to D Petty Crypto. Welcome in, bro. Good to see you. Denny's coffee is disgusting. Low-key Waffle House's coffee is kind of gross, too. That's how we keep y'all straight. Shout out to D Petty. He's like, don't you dare ask for pancakes in the house of waffle. I get it, though. I get it. I was like, listen, I'm sorry. I disrespected. I didn't mean it. I come from a different land. Sorry. We just curse each other out in IHOP on a Sunday morning. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Fetch. All right. Let's not look at that Fetch chart. Where's my actual Fetch chart? Coinbase? Maybe we'll start a new one. Am I on the right chart? Yeah, I am on the right chart. Do we not have a updated Fetch chart? It would have to be this one, but this is pretty much, yeah, I'll just start this over. So I'm just going to pull up the volume profiles that I see real quick because chances are we're interacting with this one. Turn this over. Value area low sitting at 19 cents. POC sitting at 28 cents. Value area high 71 cents. It's 7:41. Are we over again? Good Lord. Okay, not really. Yeah, we're going for 2 hours, guys. We were trying to do hour and a half for these live streams, and it's just not. I just can't do it, guys. I just literally cannot do it. All right. We lost that fib. That's not beautiful. Okay, that's not beautiful either. We could check it from all the way. Come on. From the low here in 2020. Good Lord. I'm not even going to pull that fib. But yeah, I would say, right, this is your volume profile for sure, right? Deviate below the low, you get back in, go to the POC, hold the value area low, back to the POC, back to the high, big deviation. So this is definitely the major range. Value area high sitting at 71 cents, POC sitting at 28 cents, value area low at 19 cents. That is what I would be looking at as your macro range. Now, it's kind of similar to a lot of other stuff we were looking at, right? Like, I would not necessarily be looking at this as a really good place to take a massive trade necessarily. I would probably be more inclined to wait for a retracement into potentially this value area high, golden pocket 786 retracement. Come on, boom, right? If we were to get a move back up in here, maybe I would look for a potential short entry, but until then, right, or until we come down to one of the POC or the value area low, like your next big key levels are kind of below you and above you here. If you cannot break back above this value area high, I would potentially say that the POC to 28 cents and the value area low at 19 cents is open. Not the best sign, right? But at the end of the day, you get stuck in this range. That's probably, these are just the next key levels down below. Simply put, right? Like, I wish it wasn't, but it is. I will say you did come in and test this weekly. So this is a level that you could potentially look at as an important flip to support, right? If you can flip that to support, you might be able to get a push back into the high / golden pocket 786 retracement. You actually have two weeklies here. Weekly there, which was actually technically tapped. So the weekly we're looking at is this one right here, right? So if you can get back above that weekly, hold it. Maybe you get the retracement in here, but I would be careful. Why? Look at your weekly money flow in the red. 2-day money flow has been in the red for quite some time. You do have a bullish divergence down here. I wish you had like a, you could also look at this profile as well. If I had to pull another one, right? You have your other profile up here, right? I just really don't like, maybe that weekly is a good level to put a low in at, but this is your upper profile. So you can take these levels 197 at the value area high, POC at 131, and then value area low at 96 cents. Flip this to support. I'd be careful here for a potential lower high, lower low situation into the POC. If you could break out of that 786 value area high and get a move up, value area low / doorway to higher prices would be right here at 96 cents. Flip that, look to go to the POC. But until you either like come up to this resistance, or, maybe, yeah, because like you do have the 2-day bullish divergence, right? Lower lows, higher lows, right? So flip that weekly. I think you could push up to the value area high and then reassess the situation at that point. See if you can flip that, push into your upper levels. But right now, like this is not necessarily really something that I would, it's not really a setup I would be looking to take personally, but doesn't mean that it can't play out. If you flip that weekly, I would look for a push up in here. Break out of here, bigger move up into the upper profile. However, if you cannot break above and hold this weekly, I'd be looking down towards the POC at 28 cents. So those are the key levels. Money flow, obviously, in the red here. So until that shapes up, technically you have a 4-day bull div here as well, but we'll see. Probably it looks choppy, in my opinion. But those are the key levels I would look at. I'd be more interested in seeing key levels tapped, right? So there you go. That is what we're looking at on Fetch. And shout out to Week 589. We're going to make Fetch happen, bro. We're going to make Fetch happen. But, guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time I got for today's live stream. I do have something I have to get to right now. Did about 2 hours even here today. Not too, I thought I got frozen there for a second. 2 hours almost even. But thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll see what happens on Bitcoin, guys. Like I said, we're at that pinnacle level with the value area high and the value area low. If you missed the Bitcoin TA, scrub back to the beginning of the show, and I talk about all the levels and kind of the way I'm playing it. I am holding my long. I am not in a short as of right now. If I do enter one, I will if I see the entries, but right now I am only holding the long, and hopefully we could just get the bounce into the upper profile and push up towards the POC golden pocket. But go back and watch that TA if you missed it. And with all that being said, I will see you guys here, same place, same time tomorrow, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If anything crazy happens, I will drop a market update or go live during the day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Shout out to Darren Dusting. Shout out to Jay Violet, Rob the Crypto Snob, Dave Digital, D Petty Crypto. Gotta hit the road, fam. Shout out to D Petty. Me too, bro. Me and D Petty are actually hanging out today. That's where we're both leaving at the same time. But thank you guys for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go. At the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on a roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on a roll, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on a roll, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll, here we go. On a roll.